Tonight, everything changes, from the grind to the spotlight. Every moment leads to this. This is where legends are born. Dreams realized, futures decided. Tonight, the future is being called.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome here to our NFL Draft live show. If you're new here, my name is Ashmir, and this is like our fourth or fifth time together with me and the squad. Welcome, everyone, to Team NBS Media. I am so thrilled to be doing this again with everybody. My name is Ashmir, like I said. Let me introduce the rest of the people. So we've got Jeff, Randall, and Greg, our big analysis that have been breaking down their big boards for months, I want to say. And if you haven't been following along, they've also been doing some great interviews. So Jeff, Randall, Greg, how are you guys? And Bill, oh my gosh, sorry. There's five of us. Bill, don't forget Bill.
There we are. Well, it's more important than those guys do because they've been doing all the interview stuff. Nobody's seen me for quite a while because I've been working on projects. And since we're talking about new beginnings, I would be remiss if we did not congratulate two members of Team NBS who have new beginnings coming up with their engagements. We're talking about you, Ashmir, and Bill.
Oh, I was like, this guy is surprised, not me. I guess it's me.
Congratulations, Ashmir.
Thank you. Thank you. Bill, I love the color. I'm glad you're wearing color.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to try to keep it lively.
All right. So how excited are you guys on a scale of 1 to 10? After all of the breaking it down, the interviews, the long nights on your YouTube, how excited are you?
So I was up until well after midnight putting the final touches on my board. So I'm operating on slightly under 4 hours of sleep. That's how excited I am. I couldn't wait.
Well, I love to hear that. Is it because you're a Raider fan today or what?
A Raider. That's hilarious. The draft is, here's how big the draft is in my life. I've been doing this for 43 years, and people that I only talk to literally sometimes once a year will call me today to congratulate me, in essence, that the draft is back here again. There are people that's the only thing they remember about me from the time I was in high school onwards that I've been obsessed with the draft. And so shout out to like Clinton Getzinger, who I went to high school with. People hit me up literally once a year this day to say, hey, Bill, congratulations, it's the draft, right? Because they know that I prepare for this for 365 days. And so finally it all pays off.
What about you, Jeff, Greg, Randall, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you?
Greg, Randall, you guys go because you guys have been putting this work in for the year. So,
well, all right. April 23rd, 1989, the Cowboys had their first overall draft pick for the first time since '74 when they took Ed Tutel Jones and they drafted Troy Aikman. Is there going to be a quarterback this year that's of that level? I don't think so. But again, Fernando Mendoza is still a very good quarterback. I don't like all of this nonsense that goes on that he can't do this, he can't do that. The guy is a leader. And if you see his mother dealing with MS, that young man loves his mother to death. And he is staying at home with her. That's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, I was going to say the fact that he is spending the draft knowing how much hype is around him as a person to go first overall, help this Raiders franchise, everything that is surrounding him, and he still wants to be at home. I agree with you, Greg. I think he's got a lot of good things going for him, but I'm not going to give away too much of my feelings yet till we see what happens. So, Randall, what about you? How are you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm so excited that it's here, to be honest with you. This draft has been incredible, but hard to predict and figuring out. You know, when we were making player cards, we had to get towards almost 50 to figure out who's going to go in the first round because so many different people could get in. There's buzz yesterday that Tre'Davious Stukes could get into the first round, and that's the first time I heard that in a while. So, like, the randomness of round 1 is going to build into round 2, and then round 3 is probably going to end up being like worthy of a study with how this draft is working out. So it's just the randomness is what I love about it, and I'm super intrigued.
Well, the randomness is not what I love about it because I'm only studying 50 people while you 3, 4 know double that. So for me, I'm just projecting to go with what I know. What about you, Jeff? How are you feeling?
Try 10 times as many people.
Exactly right.
Well, for me, this is a different year for me. You know, usually you guys, we've been talking all spring about the draft process. We're talking the process. Well, if you notice, I've been absent. I've been working on something different. If you notice, there's a title there. But that's going to change. A lot of things are going to change for me. But it's great to come on here and be part of the draft once again. I am going to be more learning from these guys now because the guys I was looking at weren't on draft boards. So I wasn't looking at NFL guys, and it's going to be a different thing for me. My board still has last year's guys on it. That's how different it is for me. Not being part of this process has been something I kind of missed. I enjoyed being on this, talking with you guys, talking through the mocks, seeing the boards change, putting the player grades together. I would love to get back to doing that again. We'll see what the time permits me to do. But right now, I'm just enjoying being here with you guys for 3 days, talking draft once again.
Yes.
So Raiders are on the clock. We've got 7 minutes. They cut everyone to 8 minutes rather than 10 minutes. And I'm assuming it's because of viewership, right? Like, look, people are kind of locking out because you got 10 whole minutes, 15 commercials in between each pick. It's taken forever. Do you think that really affects the first round deeply when you're a team?
No.
Brandon Beane. Oh, sorry.
They can get this done in 5 minutes. They don't even need 8 minutes. I'm serious. But again, because we have the TV networks, you got to have the commercial time for them and da 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 da. So that's the bottom line of that.
Sorry,
but 10 minutes was too long.
No, I mean, that's it. It's about commercials and it's about the business, making sure that they get paid. But Brandon Beane went on and said they still take their time on it to make sure that they get it right. But the 8 minutes is still a little bit overboard, but it's understandable. There's a lot of people that have to talk. You got to set people up with interviews afterwards and talk to them. The grace period makes sense. I'm not too mad about it. I like it. I like to extend it a little bit because then once the draft's over, we have to wait another year. So I just love watching it.
I love the draft too. Something about it. It's just like the youth, the new beginnings, the new Raiders beginnings. I don't know. This one feels different for me, but I always enjoy it with you guys because I feel like I leave learning so much more about every single player because I'm just reading things, but you guys give this in-depth knowledge. I made a whole TikTok video about this squad. I was like, thank God I do this with them because otherwise I wouldn't know half of the stuff I know. I know we just started, so everyone's like, Ashmere, calm down. We just got here.
Yeah.
Keep going.
As a scouting mentor of mine always said, when you look at the NFL, it has a shield for a reason. And behind it, there's 3 M's. One of those M's is media. Well, when you have all these months to pick the first pick, remember what was happening just a few years ago? It was coming out the day before they were signing the guy. They already knew who they would draft. It was breaking news. Now all of a sudden they hide it because they want everybody to pay attention around that first pick. Here we are, 5 minutes on the clock. I'm pretty sure the card is filled out. It's ready to go. They're ready to let the person know. Everything they have to do now is make sure it looks good on the tube. So this is the one part of it that's all about the media. Here we are with pick 1. Everybody knows who the Raiders have known for weeks. It's all about right now making it look good for TV, the people waiting around, bring up the excitement. Once that first pick comes off the board, then the real work begins because now if you're at pick 2, well, if they took the guy you expected, great. We know who we want. If they took somebody else different, why did that happen? Do we need to rethink our pick? Then the real thinking starts and the second guessing starts.
I'm sorry. If the Raiders picked anybody else, I'm logging off the show. Okay? Like, I'm not even going to waste my time watching anything else because I think there was one draft. I cannot remember his name because he's not on the team anymore. But all 3 of us reacted in the sense of like, who was that? It was some lineman. I cannot remember.
Offensive lineman. It was like pick 16.
Yeah.
Alex Leatherwood?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, pick 17.
We knew who he
Yeah.
was. We were like, why did they take him? But
We knew exactly who he was, which is that's why we were so perplexed, because we know who Alex Leatherwood is.
Yeah.
You know, you could also say the same thing when they took Cleveland Farrell at 3. We went, huh? Cleveland? There were better pass rushers on the board. Why did you take Cleveland?
There were better pass rushers at Clemson that year.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, the Raiders are great for giving, and the pick is in. So they're going to make us wait now. They know the pick is in. But nevertheless, you know, that was the Mike Mayock years where, you know, they had 2 first-round picks and 3 first-round picks. And the first one always made you scratch your head. And then you get ready for the second one with the worst intentions, and they make a great pick. And you go, wow, how come you couldn't do that with the first pick? You know, so, you know, those years are really interesting for Raider fans. We're hoping that you have a little bit different. They seem to love the pick in the room right now. So they're going to announce it to everybody in a few minutes. And I'm not surprised that I'm seeing a lot of Eagles jerseys there in Pittsburgh, being that you're right down the road.
I don't have the sound on, but did they already say
Fernando? No.
Okay.
No.
So that would be very confusing for
They
everybody.
showed his, like, you know, the stand-up, the green screen. They showed his stand-up, so I was like, oh, it's Fernando. I don't know what to say.
No. Roger has not made his big walk.
No.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay,
It's coming
so
up. They keep focusing on the stage. So, yeah, I think it's coming up right now.
Yeah.
Too much other stuff going on to boo him.
Yep, here he comes.
can you believe it's been 78 years since the Pittsburgh has hosted the draft? I feel like that's an extremely long time for the fan base that exists there.
Well, you know, they got to make their way around the country now. Before it was usually in certain places. Well, it was always in New York. I remember it always being in
Right.
New York.
Sure.
Well, I can't say here in New York. I'm not in New York anymore. But, you know, I remember it being at the Pennsylvania Hotel. You know,
Woo, everybody, I'm logging off. I'm done. Thank you. Go Raiders. We did it.
So
It's a new year.
You want to announce it?
Oh, with the first overall draft pick, the Las Vegas Oakland Raiders have picked Fernando Mendoza. Yay, everybody. All right.
Surprise.
Not to beat all of the analysis you guys have already probably done surrounding Mendoza, but having Max Crosby back, and now you have this brand new QB. What were you guys thinking when all of that was coming to fruition, right? Things fall apart with Max in Baltimore, and he gets to be there with a new rookie quarterback. And then they bring Kirk Cousins. So a lot of strange pieces. It's the Raiders. How were you guys, like, discussing that when you were doing your drafting or just talking about the Raiders as a whole? And I'll start with Randall.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously Fernando Mendoza was going there. I love that. I think it's a blessing for them with how much cap space they had that Max Crosby came back to them. I think that's just an addition for them. He's going to be healthy come August, so that's just a nice addition with how much money they spend. When looking at Fernando Mendoza, and that was very obvious, I'm a big fan of Mendoza. I think if you take like the last 3 years, I probably would still take him either 4th as a QB, including this one. Hindsight would be 5th with Drake May at 4. But at this point, what I thought was lock up a right tackle. The next pick in your second round, I think you need to lock up a right tackle to make sure that offensive line is ready for Fernando Mendoza to come in probably after the bye week, have Kirk Cousins run it, and then he comes in after the bye week, but you have your offensive line ready and intact to get Fernando Mendoza behind that.
Okay, so they're interviewing Mendoza in his home. Does that mean Taylor was just waiting in Miami to talk to him?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what that means. Yeah.
It's just a crazy thing. Maybe because as a Raider fan, you never get so much hype. Anyways, all right, Greg, you've already touched on a little bit of Fernando, so just want to hear your follow-up with the same thing that Randall has talked about.
They signed Tyler Linderbaum, who's a great center, which means Mendoza will have protection. Mike McCartney, by the way, is the name of the agent for Kirk Cousins, and that man has gotten 5 different guaranteed contracts. 5 guaranteed contracts. Mike McCartney, you are the super agent.
Get Mulligetta.
Yeah,
I want McCartney.
Yeah, you can't argue that.
I may never live up to the contract, but he's going to get me the guaranteed money. Forget Mulligetta, get me McCartney.
Yep. And of course, Mr. Pickens signed his franchise tag today, which means Mulligetta is not a happy man. But Pickens is not Micah Parsons. He's not involved in all that BS stuff that Parsons and Jerry Jones went through. If Pickens gets traded, that'll be an amazing thing. I don't see it happening. I think Pickens stays in Dallas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
27
Jets
million.
pick is in. We only talked about the Raiders for so long, but that's okay. I don't want to hype it. I don't want to hype it up too much because that was expected. The Jets need a lot of help. Another team that we know needs a lot of help. Their pick is in, and I want to start with who was on your big board, Bill. Who did you have going number 2 overall?
I had David Bailey, and I know that Arvell Reese has been discussed a great deal, and he's a fantastic football player. But if you want immediate impact as a pass rusher, he probably should not be the selection. He's really more KJ Wright with a jetpack than he is a true pass rusher. And I think he will still get a certain number of sacks, blitzing and being moved around and things like that. But if you go into certain packages, you haven't put his hand in the dirt, he'll give you some production that way. But if you ask him on every single snap, on every single play to be a defensive end or a quasi-defensive end, 2 things. He has a very wiry kind of build, and he doesn't seem to have the kind of frame you can put another 15 to 20 pounds on. I think he could probably hold at the most 12 more pounds. That means that setting edges, which we discussed earlier off air, is always going to be a challenge for him. Last but not least, he's really a linebacker. I don't know how to put it. Arvell Reese is a linebacker who can rush the passer. If you want a pass rusher, especially this early in the draft, I don't think you go after like projections. If you go after a player where you know what you're getting. If you get David Bailey, you're getting a person, even if he is a guy that only plays 40 to 45% of the snaps, is going to threaten right out of the box to get close to double-digit sacks. He may not do a lot of other things, but he's going to be able to do that at a high level. He has a varied bag of pass rush moves. He understands leverage, understands pass rush moves in a way that, at least at this point, Arvell simply does not.
Well, your dreams have come true. David Bailey selected 2nd overall to the New York Jets. Randall, do you think this was the best move for the Jets' direction to go into?
Yeah, I think Aaron Glenn gets a guy that will contribute immediately, taking it. He's probably on a short leash. So Bill is correct in that matter where you kind of have to develop Reese into his position, kind of use him in sub packages and figure that out. But David Bailey, you're just putting on that line, stand up and go. I mean, 15 pressures, 23 QB hits in 2025 is very impressive with a full pass rush bag and some plan. He already comes into the NFL. I mean, he had a 12 pressure game. He had an 11 pressure game. He had a 3-sack game last year. He's just kind of that dog. I mean, if you're taking out the outliers, because Reuben Bain with 32-inch arms probably go ahead of David Bailey, but people are afraid of those arms. You get the surefire in David Bailey.
Well, I think for New York, like I already touched upon a little bit, they had a pretty rocky season. The QB discussion is still up for debate. I think it's like the never-ending headline of what's going to happen to the New York Jets quarterback. So I know this is a later on discussion, but I just want to hear, what are your guys' thoughts for the QB position for the Jets? And I'll ask Jeff first.
Well, you better have your hard hats on because it's a very big construction zone. They're nowhere near an answer in that position. Everything is kind of hodgepodge. You still have the quarterback they got from Chicago there.
Justin Fields.
Thank you, Justin Fields. I wanted to say Terrell Pryor so bad, but he's getting the Terrell Pryor treatment. You know what I mean? Getting passed around, right? So Justin Fields is still there. They don't want him to be the starter, but you ain't cut him. So obviously he's still in the mix to be your starter. You brought back Geno Smith, who you drafted, said he's not our guy. He's gone a few places, had a little bit of success here and there. He comes back to you as your bridge quarterback. Bridge to what? We don't know. Because guess what? You didn't have the first pick. You didn't move up to get him. Mendoza's off the board. You're not going to take a quarterback that high, as you see they took David Bailey. So when they come back in round 2, or if they jump back into round 1, do they come back up for somebody that they like? Do you need to come back up in round 1 for a quarterback in this draft? I don't think so. But once again, these guys did more of the work on this draft than I do. So they may have better ideas about the quarterbacks in this draft. They're coming back in round 1. If I'm a GM, I'm not doing it. I'm going to take a guy. I'm going to trust my veterans. Hopefully, they should have signed a better one than they got. But to me, if you develop Justin Fields and give him a chance, give him real weapons and a real offensive line and a coordinator that knows how to call things outside of 10 yards, I think maybe you could actually have a chance of winning some games. But the Jets, on the other hand, last year were a mess, and they seem to be a mess again right now with the quarterback situation.
Seems to be a never-changing problem for the Jets. And my next question, Greg, having a defensive player drafted so high, how does that like change the way that you guys plan for big boards and just like mock drafts? Because I feel like that wasn't something that was so common back in the day.
Well, defensive edge players do go high in this draft, but again, there are no other first round worthy quarterbacks this year. That's the key. And again, with the offensive tackle situation, most of these offensive tackles are playing right tackle. Teams need left tackles. That's why you're going to see movement up, I think, because the left tackles that are going to be available, that'll happen. And, that's just basically the bottom line there. But yeah, the edge guys always go early.
Yep.
Second overall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we see them go first
Maybe
overall.
my research is old.
First overall. Look at the kid that went to the Jaguars.
Right. Straight on. Yeah.
Who just got paid.
Just got paid.
I'm glad he grew into his role, into his first pick.
I wouldn't say he grew into a first pick.
I still think that.
Picked in the first.
It wasn't no
first round.
Russell or anything,
Yeah.
Wow, Cardinals had to pick. I honestly thought this was going to be a trade back.
I was just going to say that I thought the same thing, but the Cardinals have a lot of problems too. Kyler Murray was on fire. I mean, I think the bottom half, obviously we know they got a lot of problems. The first 20 player teams, we would say first 12 teams, we got a lot of issues. So for the Cardinals, who was on your big board, Jeff?
Well, I don't have a big board this year.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so who would you pick for the Cardinals?
Oh man, what don't the Cardinals need, right?
There it is.
So if I'm sitting here at pick 3 and I'm the Cardinals, there's a lot of things I could use. Well, one, how about an explosive back that can catch the ball, break runs, is elusive, a guy from Notre Dame who's quite an athlete like Jeremiah Love. Yes, you have James Conner. James Conner's at the end of his leash. You've got a bunch of guys behind him who are quality guys, but they're not the guy. You could draft a guy that's going to be the guy, and it helps your receivers out a lot. It helps whatever quarterback you have. Right now it's Jacoby Brissett. You still got to upgrade the quarterback position. So to me, it starts with running game and a guy that's a matchup problem. I would take a Jeremiah Love here.
All right, well, someone that does have a big board, Randall, who did you have going for the Cardinals?
Ooh, well, I had them definitely trading back, but I think David Bailey was the issue. I had them trading back for Francis Mauigoa. I'm not a big top 5 Jeremiah Love guy, to be honest with you. I think that they need more help around him to make sure that he doesn't have like an Ashton Jeanty kind of season in his rookie year. But they did go Jeremiah Love. So they are just going to get the playmaker, which it makes sense. I mean, they paid, I think, Algier, but not enough money to really even scoff at the point of taking a running back. But you get Jeremiah Love in Arizona where he's going to be in the passing and the rushing game, which is great. Algier can take the inside rushing and some red zone rushing while he's just an explosive weapon. I don't think he's Christian McCaffrey, which a lot of people have talked about, but I think he is a dynamic athlete.
Well, I think the James Conner injury and then his possible return, having him there will be a big help. So hopefully it won't be an Ashton Genty situation because the only player there was Ashton Genty. So I think that will be a huge help for the Jeremiah Love situation. What are your thoughts on this selection, Bill?
I just recently wrote up Jeremiah Love. So I think he is a very good running back. I think he's a better version of Marlon Mack, and which I know makes some people angry or whatever. First of all, Marlon Mack was pretty darn good. I think people are forgetting how good he was, but I don't think he's, I don't think I'm saying anything shocking. I don't think he's, Barry Sanders. I don't think he's Christian McCaffrey. I don't think he's Saquon Barkley. I think he's a really good running back. And I think he'll have a very good career out there in the desert, especially if they use him correctly, and I think they will. I think the only issue is that he's not by himself, obviously, going to turn them around. Like even the greatest of running backs don't turn bad teams into good teams, right? I think we've established that in the history of football. That's not how you turn into a great team in the modern NFL, in the modern version of the NFL. So they're going to need to build other things around in this team. But he's a great football player. He is. He's a fantastic football player. He can do all the things you want from a 3-down back. He can catch the ball. He can protect the quarterback, and he can make big plays, as a receiver as well as a runner. I just wonder if it will be not an Ashton Genty situation exactly, but I won't be shocked if he ends up, in terms of yards per carry, dropping way off from where he was in college, and ends up being more like a 4.1 yards per carry guy, and ends up with somewhere around 1,300 yards from scrimmage with about 870 something yards rushing and another 380 yards receiving, which is still respectable, but not what you're expecting from a guy you take second overall.
Well, that's good because he went third overall.
Third overall.
Thanks, Greg.
Right. Good point, Greg. Third overall. Yeah.
And Saquon went second overall and all that other good sort of stuff. But Jeremiah Love, Marcus Freeman was interviewed this afternoon, and he said that man could have just been a wide receiver, just purely been a wide receiver. That's how good he is at running routes and all that other good sort of stuff as well. His salary cap. Whoa, you're talking the third overall pick,
Right.
More than the rushing leader right now, James Cook.
Yep. So that's a big thing.
I think why you see him taken here is you look at backs in this draft. There are very few backs that are the matchup problem that he can create. He's a guy that, yes, can run the football. He gives you the long runs. He can fight for yardage inside the tackles. But he's a matchup problem if you move him around the formation. If you motion him out the backfield and match him up against a linebacker, he's going to beat him in the pass route. Right. He's going to beat some safeties at times in the pass route. So I think that's when you look at a player like that. Matchup problems in the NFL are highly valued because, plain and simple, this is a guy you're going to move around the formation, create matchups, and do things that you can't do with a lot of other players. These are guys, when they get hurt, they create a huge hole in the offense because other guys can't do what they do. So you'll see them kind of mixing other players in, trying to create the different elements they do. We see it with McCaffrey. McCaffrey goes out. There's not one guy that does all the elements that McCaffrey does. With Jeremiah Love, his biggest thing is going to be pass protection. He needs to, like most running backs coming out of college, he has to improve there. Otherwise, people are going to keep him in the backfield by blitzing him unmercifully, right? Because if they know he's compromised in protection. Otherwise, I think overall, you're looking at a bigger back than people give him credit for, 6 foot, 212. He's a guy that's going to be out there creating problems for defenses. Question is, who's throwing him the football? That's going to be the problem.
Can't wait till we get that answered. Okay, before we roll into the Titans, I just want to say, since Greg mentioned Saquon Barkley, Love is the first running back taken in top 5 since Saquon Barkley, 2018. All right, Robert Saleh gets a new team once again. Okay?
I can't. 1 second.
Oh, that's okay. anyways, I was saying Robert Saleh gets a new team. Second round, second option for him to fix what is broken in Tennessee, which are many things. What do you think the best plan of action is here in this selection before Mr. Commissioner announces it? And I'll ask Bill.
I would go offensive tackle, right? And it sets up perfectly for them. They have a chance to take the top left tackle in the draft. How do you make your young quarterback better? Stop letting him get hit. Like, every quarterback suddenly gets better when they aren't getting knocked to the ground. That is the best possible way to make life easier. And we always look back, obviously, on the Bengals decision, when they had a chance to go with Penei Sewell or a chance to go with a terrific, absolutely terrific player in Jamar Chase. And it's been a mixed bag. He and Jamar Chase have put up some fantastic numbers, but he's also missed a lot of time due to injury. I think that they will learn to some extent from the Bengals' experience and say, we can find good receivers in other rounds. We can find really good receivers in the trade and free agency market. Finding franchise left tackles is hard, period. Like, anyway, like finding them at all. If you have one, you have to take one. I think that's where I think this is where Mauanoga does go off the board.
Well, unfortunately, we've got a wide receiver selected, Carnell Tate from Ohio State.
So they learned the other lesson from the
opposite direction of what you were saying. You said go this way. They said no. We're going to make a U-turn and just try to get somebody down the field that can catch the ball. Make things happen.
Right.
So,
look out at our quarterback.
Exactly. I was just going to say. So then, now that knowing that, Bill, I'm going to run it back to you. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? You have to just 180 everything you just told us.
I love Cameron Ward. I think he's an underrated. He had a better season than people realize.
Sure.
If you just go off the numbers and the results of the team, you're not going to think he played well. He was making magic last year. He was making chicken salad out of chicken bleep, and I guess he'll be doing that again this year. But at least he does have Carnell Tate to throw the football to. Now, my only issue with Carnell Tate is I think he's a very high-end wide receiver too. So you're not even getting Jamar Chase. You're getting a close, I don't even quite T. Higgins, but closer to T. Higgins in a guy like Carnell Tate. He's got build-up speed. He's got speed with his build-up speed, right? He's one of those guys that has that instant acceleration. He has to get up to speed. He does have a good catch radius. He does win a lot on contested catches. He's even pretty good after the catch at breaking arm tackles and getting extra yards, falling forward, things like that. And he's even a pretty good, for a guy as long as he is, he's a pretty good route runner. My issue is that he's consistently had the other guy covering him, right? Because he plays with the truly generational Jeremiah Smith, who would have been the first player off the board in this year's draft, last year's draft, and probably it might be the first year off in next year's draft. He's often seen the other player, right? Because very often they'll still have their best cover player on Jeremiah Smith. I think he might get exposed a little bit. I think he's essentially Braylon Edwards with better hands, which is still a good player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's a true wide receiver one.
I think Cam Ward could use just about anything right now. I think Tennessee as well could do that. What are your thoughts, Randall?
I love Carnell Tate. He is my wide receiver one. I do agree with Bill in the fact that I think he's the highest of wide receiver twos. He's in that group of the highest of wide receiver twos. I think he's George Pickens without the up and down attitude sort of thing.
Yeah, the flair.
Yes, without the I decided not to play the fourth quarter. But when that comes, I think that's perfect for Cam Ward to be able to trust him in the downfield instead of letting plays develop. He can trust him in his timing and be able to just launch it with Cam Ward's arm arrogance, which is why Cam Ward is so good. So once they get their timing down, I think that duo is absolutely lethal. I do agree that I don't think a high-end wide receiver two should be drafted in the top 5, especially when there's holes. I'm glad that Jeremiah Smith went at 3. I wonder if that was something that happened with the Titans and they were thinking about taking Jeremiah Love. But personally, I think Carnell Tate works better than Jeremiah Love in Tennessee. So for them, I think it's a good pick. But, let's see what else they do in the draft to make sure that they can build around him, just like Bill said, a la offensive line. Much needed.
Greg, do you want to round it out, or should we talk about the the next New York team?
Oh, let's go see what the New York midgets, New Jersey midgets select. Yeah, this will be interesting.
You know what? I'm going to let you roll with that. So, where do you think the other New York team should go in the direction of drafting?
I would take Moa. They need help on their offensive line. They've got to keep Jackson Dart up and mobile. That's something that they absolutely need to do. There is no DT that should be picked at pick 10 either. So that's going to be later on in this draft. They'll address their Dexter Lawrence shortfall later on, but again, they need offensive line help. I would even take the kid from Penn State.
I would take Arvell Reese here.
Or
they need linebackers and they need DBs. So Mansour Lane could be on the table. Jordan Tyson right here could be on the table because they want somebody opposite of Neighbors. I don't think I would take offensive line right now for New York Giants.
I don't think you can count out Sonny Styles either.
Harbaugh
comes from a family of people who love linebackers. All the Harbaughs love linebackers. Papa Jack coached. That was how he got started. He was a linebackers coach before he became a head coach. He's been watching linebacker tape since he was 2.5 years old. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was Styles. Once again, we talked about the left tackle. I think that could happen. Tyson is a possibility. I know people are still a little nervous because he's never finished the season in college healthy. That has to be at least somewhat of a concern. He's had a series of none of them devastating injuries, but it's a series of nagging injuries, and maybe that can be dealt with in off-season preparation and different training styles and things like that. But it is a concern. For me, it would be either the tackle or Sonny Styles, with Tyson being, in my mind, sort of the third possibility.
I'm glad you said that, Bill, because I was just reminded that the last 5 picks we've had are all brand new head coaches. So in the brain of John Harbaugh with this new Giants team, which everyone is, the Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo vibe that is growing, I think that's what he might want to ride on. But just based off of John Harbaugh and what he would like to change for the Giants, what do you think, Jeff, makes the most sense for him as the new head coach?
Well, he's got the running game he wants. He's got the quarterback he wants. You got to fix the offensive line. You have Malik Neighbors coming back this year, hopefully fully healthy by the time the season starts. You have other receivers there to help you out. I think you have to go out there and get the best offensive lineman that's going to keep your young quarterback safe and upright. One of the things that they struggle with no matter how many quarterbacks you go back, all of them have faced time struggling, whether it's Eli Manning, whether it's Daniel Jones, whether it's even the young man this year with Russell Wilson last year as well. You had problems protecting him, okay? We saw when they were missing their left tackle, your backup goes out there and he gets pulled the first series because he's jumping off sides 3 out of the first 5 plays on the drive, all right? You have to fix your offensive line. One of the things you look at winning teams, whether it's the pro level, whether it's the college level, if you can win on the line of scrimmage, you can win football games. And the Giants don't consistently win on the line of scrimmage. They won 2 Super Bowls winning on the line of scrimmage. They ran the football well. They rushed the passer and shut down the run on defense. If you win on the line of scrimmage, you're an exponentially better football team. They have to improve the line of scrimmage. Defensively, they're not that far off. Offensively, they are on the opposite side of the spectrum. They've got to fix that offensive line right now.
Well, that would be the reasonable thing for John Harbaugh to do.
After this pick, the Cleveland Browns traded number 9, 74, and 148 to 6. Chiefs are moving up.
Ooh.
That means Kansas City moves up.
Yep, Kansas City moves up to 6. Browns are giving up their 3rd, their 5th, and the 9th pick.
Who do they want? First, before we go into the Chiefs, I thought I'd had a long time before I had to talk about them. No. Arvell Reese is the selection for the New York Giants, which means you guys were on the right track. We're getting in the linebacker section. So I'll run it back to Randall. How do you think this helps the Giants?
Well, they already did or are releasing Bobby Okereke, which was
Right.
a Walter Payton Man of the Year linebacker. So they needed to replace him. So I feel like they had the idea that at 5 they were going to take a linebacker. I do think it was Sonny Styles, possibly thinking that Arvell Reese wasn't going to be there. But now Arvell Reese can go into a home of an off-ball linebacker instead of forcing him in an edge position and maybe do him as a dual guy coming from the second level and being able to help in the run support at that second level, coming on that outside. That's what he does best. He can strong arm instead of setting an edge. He can strong arm and get through the gap and run, and then coming at that second level as an edge rusher as well will work. I love Arvell Reese. I think he will take some time to figure it out, but I think he's a dynamic, versatile defensive piece, and that's what all defenses are looking for in the NFL. How many positions can you play on the field at one time to fool on creepers and everything along those lines?
Yep.
All right, so on my TikToks, when I hyped up the show, I told everybody that we're going to break down positions. So I would love it if, Greg, you could break down the importance of a linebacker and just what they do on the field for any of the girlies that are tuning in.
All right. Arvell Reese is an off-ball linebacker. He's not the traditional middle linebacker. Like Bill and I grew up with middle linebackers being the most important guy on a defense. That was the guy. But now we see these two linebacker sets all the time. So your off-ball linebacker has to be good in coverage. He has to be able to attack the running back without getting caught by the offensive lineman. Arvell Reese is good at that. He is not a good edge player. I don't want him playing the edge. Until he understands how to set an edge, you should not be up there. If you're being used on third down, come up the middle. Don't go out to the edge. That's my bottom line as far as Arvell Reese goes.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. According to the Chiefs, I feel like this is a big move for them to want to come up to the 6th spot. So who are they targeting, Bill? Who is the person that the Chiefs need to have that they got to move up with the Browns?
I have a weird suspicion that they might be getting Sonny Styles here. They're either going after their top corner or they're going after – they might have had Sonny Styles rated as maybe their top player in the whole draft, and he's coming down to them. The reason that good teams trade up is because they don't need as many picks, right? They have a pretty good roster set. So the things that are popping into my head, it depends. Look at the defense that they run, right? It's a very aggressive defense. It is one of the more aggressive defenses, probably a top 5 or 6 in terms of how many times that they will basically put players on an island. So that means that you have to have better corners than some other teams that aren't as aggressive. And their corner play, if you want to look at where their defense has struggled after they've been really, really good in the past, they used to have one of the best corner tandems in the whole league, right? And then free agency got into them, guys dropped off. Now their corner tandem, I like Noel Williams, and I think he's going to continue to develop and become a really good player over time. But if they're able to, I'm pretty sure it's either whoever their top corner is, it's either Mansell Delane or, maybe Jermon, whoever they have rated as their top corner, or Sonny Styles. I'm convinced that they want to turn that defense back into a real threat, because if we know nothing else about that defense, it is a defense that's built around pressure. It's built around aggression. It's not a read and react, not a sit back and see what happens defense. And they haven't been able to play their actual style. And that's one of the reasons we always point to the offense with Chiefs. But when the Chiefs are a Super Bowl team, they have a great defense. And they had a good defense last year, but they did not have a great defense.
Right.
And that, I think, is the difference between winning a Super Bowl in Kansas City and just, being a good team.
All right. The
Trade
pick is in, and it's Mansour Delane.
There you go.
That's the number one corner then. Yeah, I thought they were going after either.
That's fine by me, because I did not like him being picked by the Dallas Cowboys because they already have outside corners. I don't need another outside corner. What was all this nonsense about Mansour Delane and Jamari McCoy for? I didn't get this. But Delane is an excellent corner. They lost McDuffie and their other corner to the Rams in free agency. So this was the obvious pick for me, was going
Makes
corner.
sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Was it necessary to move 3 picks up?
Yes.
I'm just a Chiefs hater.
It could.
So I'm just wondering, did
You
they
mean
think he
both.
was going to be gone in that time span of the 3 picks in between?
Yeah, one of those teams was going to take him.
Okay.
Yeah, right here. And for the Chiefs haters,
Speak it, Randall.
me and you, yeah. If 9 was there, they probably would have took Jordan Tyson. And in my opinion, Jordan Tyson could be the only wide receiver in this class that could be a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. So, I would rather have the Chiefs with a whole bunch of haterade take Mansour Delane, who could be a lockdown cornerback, no doubt. He had a 31.3 passer rating when targeted and had 0 penalties this year. That's massively impressive what he did. But, Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Tyson together scare me more than Mansour Delane.
Okay. So it benefits us
Yes.
in the long run.
In my eyes.
Yeah. No, we have to tell ourselves that. But it's what they're doing is in the opposite direction. Okay. So, Greg, you touched on the pick a little bit, but just want to hear some pros that you believe Delane can bring to the Chiefs, who I think their defense was not they needed some help last year. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, again, Delane is a very good press man corner. He can cover guys step for step downfield. He will get the ball into his hands. He's a very good cornerback. Easily the number 1 cornerback this year.
Yep.
So that was cut and dry as far as I was concerned. And Delane is going to be an excellent pick for the Chiefs. Don't worry. Fernando Mendoza will not be throwing the ball to him in their first game, okay? Don't worry about that.
I'm worried. No, I'm just kidding. I think Fernando will be. I mean, I feel like we didn't even talk about them. So maybe the 2-minute thing is really speeding it up. I feel like we're really mashing through. You guys are giving me an analysis, and then the next team is up, which obviously we've been on this live show for 4 hours sometimes. So.
Well, if you think this is fast, wait till tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Pick and move, baby. Pick and move.
We'll be talking about 6 picks at once.
We're at 7 in almost an hour. Okay.
Yeah, well, tomorrow. We'll be this time. We'll be talking about 6 or 7 picks every time we start to talk, because they'll be coming in like this.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be funny. And then day 3, you don't even recap each pick because they just come in. By the time you say 5 words, there's already 3 picks in. So I'm enjoying the fact that we can sit here and kind of let this pick marinate while we talk about it, and then before we move on to the next one, you get to see War Room celebrating, because you don't get this too much tomorrow and the day after.
Jeff, that's because you're a yapper. You like to yap. As the girlies would say, you're a yapper. I think this whole team is a yapping team. That's why we do the show together.
You say that now. Most of the times in the party, I'm in the guy in the corner just chilling. Right? So,
Not when someone mentions a football, okay? Then the yapping commences.
All right. So the
Commanders.
Ruben Bain fall.
Joe's team, Commanders. What a disarray last season was.
I think they were considering Bain, but now Sonny Styles is staring them right in the face.
Yeah, good point.
Is that the best? Is that your guys' best man up?
I think
My
he's the
number 1
best
player
player
on my
still on the board, and he's the cleanest prospect in the whole darn draft. There's not much you can't ask him to do. It's like if Bobby Wagner were longer and faster.
Yeah.
He processes information like a computer. Like, he sees things. He sees the game, and the game is slow and easy for him. I compared him physically to Jamie Collins. For those who may not remember, Jamie Collins came into Southern Miss as a high school quarterback who played a little bit of safety on defense. They swap him to the other side of the ball. He becomes a pretty good safety. Then he keeps getting bigger. And they move him down to will linebacker. He kind of outgrows will linebacker. He plays kind of a hybrid, almost like a jackbacker position for them. Goes on to have a very nice NFL career playing as a linebacker, but at times he, rushes the passer. But he could also always cover. even once he got into the 240s in the middle part of his career, he still was a really good coverage guy, but he became powerful enough that he could rush the passer, is good against the run. Styles, runs in the 4.4s, is powerful. I mean, there's nothing, I can't find a negative really about him. Like,
well, you shouldn't, because the Commanders picked him, so you're right. Best man.
Well, it makes perfect sense. And once again, you have another defensive-minded coach, right? You have a defensive-minded coach who gets a player that allows him, it frees your hands as a defensive play caller when you have a player like him, because you don't have to get an extra corner on the field, an extra nickel. He can cover wide receivers. He can cover running back. He can cover tight ends. He's a better athlete than most of the safeties in the NFL, and he's 241 pounds. I mean, it is difficult to find Sonny Styles. Like, it's a difficult human being to create. Like, there's not many Sonny Styles. So when you get one, you have to take one.
I was going to say, didn't his combine just impress everybody?
Mm-hmm.
And his game tape did, and his interviews did. Like, I think he's the cleanest prospect when you look at all of it together in the whole entire draft.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no real obvious flaws anywhere. He's been durable, flexible, versatile, and he's a terrific player in terms of getting other people organized. He helps you to get he's going to help improve your entire defense, because he's probably your green dot guy. He's a great blitzer. He can cover. He still has the hands of a safety. There's not really a hole, right? As I said, my upside, and I don't bring up Hall of Fame players very often, but his upside, like the closest I can think of to him, if everything works out, is like a Bobby Bell kind of player. Like, if everything works out. Obviously, a lot would have to happen for him to have that kind of career, but he's one of those players who can do literally everything you'd ever ask the linebacker to do, and some things you'd ask the defensive back to do, he can do well.
Well, that means Joe, NBS owner, should be thrilled. He got the golden goose, baby. Okay, the one that surprised everyone. And I'll just have Randall touch a little bit on how this helps the Commanders as a team as a whole.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bill put it perfectly. He's that all-around guy. And to add on Bill's, he is, his family is super disciplined. His dad is super disciplined. So he's got that mindset. He did a lot of postseason before the draft interviews, and talking through what he's doing at the second level to come down and run support, tackle with your offensive linemen, so they push him to tackle. Like, he's got that brain and that cerebral for the NFL already. He's good to go. Again, number one player on my board. He solves a lot of problems in the front seven. And, they added pass rush in the free agency. Now you got the Mike. You can let the pass rush free reign while he handles the middle and really clears that up. So really, at this point, you can start looking at offensive weapons come later in the draft and offensive line.
I love to hear it. All right, Greg, what about you? Would you like to close out on the Sonny Styles bandwagon? Sounds like I'm on it. You guys have hyped him up enough.
Sonny Styles should never have gone to the damn combine. There was no reason to go. There was no reason. It was so obvious, because before the combine, the man was at pick 12 70% of the time. 70% of the mocks had Sonny Styles becoming a Cowboy. But of course, as soon as he went to this the draft combine, and performed as well as he did, that was over and done with. He's just a very good player, and his older brother, Lorenzen, was a Notre Dame wide receiver,
right.
And then he transferred over to Ohio State as well. But yeah, his dad did not mess around with those two kids. They both absolutely love the game of football.
Yep.
Running with parachutes at 6 years old.
God, if only I had done that with my little girl. I wish it's too late now, obviously. But yeah.
I wish my father would have done that with me. I would have run 4.4 more than once.
Jeff, that's good. 4.4?
I ran it once.
That's
it was like
impressive.
Johnny Dangerously. You only do that once. Well, that was me. And I was all excited about it. Go back to I ran a 4.4. And you go back and you run it on your own and you don't run a 4.4. He goes, what happened at a 4.4? Well, we ran it, together. It wasn't me and somebody else. I couldn't run a 40 on my own in a great time. You put me on a track with somebody to run a 40, and all of a sudden my time speeds up. I was never a kind of runner that could just run fast. I have to have something making me run fast. When you're covering wide receivers and you've been burned once, you never want to be burned again. So suddenly you find that top gear when that guy is faster than you. So when you're running a 40, there's nobody running with you. You're just sitting there looking at a finish line, and Lord knows when you get there. Some guys can do it like that. I was a above maybe average athlete, solid above average athlete. So instant speed was never my thing, and I was a build-up speed runner. So, yeah, no, I ran that once. I'm happy that I actually did run it once, so I could actually say I did it. But it didn't happen when it counted in football tryouts. That's when it didn't happen.
What sounds like all you needed was like an angry polar bear, Jeff, and you might have been in the NFL.
All I needed was that one receiver next to me that actually ran 4.3. And trust me, I'd have ran a 4.4 because I wasn't going to get embarrassed. I wasn't going to be the guy as he's high stepping across the finish line in front of me. No. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Sorry, I was watching I'm on the TikTok live.
Uh-huh.
Trying to make sure we're good to
Right.
go.
So, looking at everything, we're moving at a nice pace. We are. Any surprises to you guys so far? We're coming up on pick 10. We do have trivia coming up later, folks, so make sure you stick around for that. There'll be a trivia question coming out. But you see Mendoza, Bailey, Love, Tate, Reese, Delane, Sonny Styles. We haven't seen who the Saints have picked. You guys, any surprises so far?
None.
Tate at 4.
None.
Tate at 4 for me is a surprise.
Yeah.
Cardinals not being able to do a deal. I think that's a detriment to them. I think they should have pulled back with how many pieces they need.
Yep.
And I lost my FanDuel parlay because I said that Sonny Styles was going to be a top 5 pick. So surprise on me there.
Yeah.
Not the call sheet.
Randall, do you have the details of that Kansas City trade? I want to get into the trade.
Yes. It is 6. If I'm not mistaken, it's 6.
Yep.
74. They gave
right?
6. Browns got 9, 74, and 148.
Yeah, 974.
974 and 148.
Yep.
And they got 6 only.
Yes, just 6 only.
Okay.
There is no quarterback tax this year.
And when I in my high 30s, because I was at the combine this year, I ran 5.30. I was kind of impressed with myself.
Wait, that's really good.
I know.
You could probably
Yeah, Randall.
Yeah, crushed my kid. The kid was right next to me, just burned him.
You're like, I'm going to be drafted tomorrow.
right. You could at least be like a guard in like a power gap scheme kind of thing.
Yeah. Just send me on the run. I'll just try and bulldoze people. We'll see what happens.
All right, we've got Jordan Tyson drafted to the New Orleans Saints.
I got that one right. That's one of the players I thought would end up with New Orleans.
And according to the trade value chart, that is a perfect value.
Oh, nice.
All right, so 1,600 for pick 6. They got 1,602 in return.
Well, thanks for asking, Team NBS Media. Who is throwing Jordan Tyson the ball, Greg? What are your thoughts on
Tyler
that?
Shuck is throwing him the football, and Tyler Shuck is a very good quarterback. So don't worry about the quarterback. I don't like all this concentration on the one guy. Yes, they touch the football every down, blah, blah, blah. Tyler Shuck proved last year when he came in that he could lead that New Orleans offense. He's their quarterback. There you have it.
All right, so how does Jordan Tyson give him that ammo he needs? I'm asking Greg again.
Well, I did not have Jordan Tyson in my top 10 wide receivers because he's always been injured. So I didn't put him in my top 10. But again, he is a very good receiver. He can run routes very nicely. He will separate. Again, to join up with Chris Olave is a key factor.
Mm-hmm.
That means Tyler Shuck has 2 good targets. Bottom line.
Yeah, I was going to say the Olave edition is very good. Go ahead, Randall.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with Greg. I think he's a perfect complement to Chris Olave because Chris Olave's that third level burner to go on the vertical routes, while Jordan Tyson is that intermediate and deep separator. So when he creates it, he is a little slower, like 4.51, 4.52. So he is good at the catch point, but he doesn't separate like Chris Olave in that vertical to throw that go route. But Jordan Tyson is a fantastic, again, he's the one wide receiver that I think that can be a wide receiver 1 as long as he stays healthy. His releases, his stem work is one of the best in the class. And, as long as he stays healthy, he is probably the top wide receiver in this class. And then I am a little concerned about Shuck. I think he played very good quarterback. But remember, now you got Jordan Tyson, who did not play 3 full years of college. And then also Shuck, who played, Bill, 8-9 years because he had about 3 or 4 injuries in college. So it's like, all right, well, you're kind of rolling the dice when it comes to injury-prone offensive players.
Well, you know what Saints fans always point out when you say, gosh, you're taking a chance on that? They always point to the Drew Brees situation. Several teams didn't want Drew Brees because he couldn't put his arm down, right? The ball, part of the ball socket joint had punctured down, in through the bottom of the socket and locked his arm up like the tray table on a plane. And famously, the Dolphins who wanted him, their team doctor said, nope, no, you don't. So this illustrates to people that teams evaluate injury risk differently. This is a great example of that. There are teams that loved Jordan Tyson, but their team doctor said, I don't like this. But the Saints have proven in more than one occasion, we just talked about Tyler Shuck, that they aren't quite as squeamish about bringing in guys with injury histories. And so they're holding form. Tyson graded out for me as the best slant runner of all of the wide receivers in this class. His slant work particularly. Slant, and go. He is really deceptive as a route runner. He protects the ball well. He is unafraid, and maybe that's part of what's played into some of his injury history, but he's unafraid of going into the scary places as a receiver, even though he's not the biggest cat in the world. He goes willingly into, the lion's den to catch footballs. So there's a lot to like about him. He's my wide receiver 2. And I think that if he's used correctly, and once again with the caveat that he stays healthy, I will not be surprised if he leads all rookie wide receivers in yards per reception.
Woo, we better clip that. We need to keep that on file, okay? Because I want to know if that's true once the season concludes. So, Randall, can you remind us what the trade was with the Chiefs and the Browns? Because I did not write it down.
Yes, it was pick 6. Chiefs moved out to pick 6. Browns moved back to 9 and acquired 148 and 74.
Thank you. Okay, we've got Browns. Pick is in. New head coach once again with everyone's favorite guy, Shedeur Sanders, to see how he can really be and take over this offense. What are you guys thinking?
I'm sorry to tell you this, but Deshaun Watson is right now in the lead to be
I'm really not manifesting that one. I know
care.
with you.
But Deshaun Watson is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns because guess what? He signed a whole bunch of money. There you go.
Right.
So,
well, we got him some offensive tackle here, Spencer Fontaine. So, Greg, follow up with the Deshaun Watson conversation and adding the new OT. How does this help him and the Browns?
Fano is 6'5.5". He weighs 311. The guy is a very good right tackle. He can play right away, which is good. He's the Outland Trophy winner, which is the top offensive lineman in the country. So yeah, they've got themselves a very good player from the University of Utah.
Well, since Randall kind of thought there would be a trade, did you think that this was the direction Browns were heading in for?
I did not.
Okay.
Well, the trade back was fine. I definitely thought they were trading back. Spencer Fano, I really like him at right tackle. You know, at combine, he was taking center snaps because his arm length's about 32 inches and 1/8. So it's at that borderline tackle for the right tackle. But I thought that the Browns really had to lock up their left tackle because they picked up their right tackle in free agency. So I thought this was a move to gain some capital and then take a chance on Monroe Freeling, who is basically a ball of clay that you can help him develop in a year where Browns will not make the playoffs, and then make him your franchise left tackle in 2027. But I think this is a little. Fano is a great offensive lineman. You can't go wrong because of how good he is. But I thought they were going to go in a different direction for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And especially Maui Noah. I probably would have took Maui Noah over. Fano as well.
Yep.
Well, the Giants get him, which I think is a good.
There he goes.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Yep.
Run it back, Randall. Tell me why this helps New York so much.
Perfect.
Well, they obviously need a lot of help everywhere on that offensive line. So
Yes.
Maui Noah, he's versatile where he can be a guard and a tackle. So you can kind of figure out where he wants to go. But Maui Noah was my OT1 in summer, and he remained my OT1 by the season's end. And that's impressive in this day and age. So his consistency from 24 to 2025 is why he was OT1 for me. He's just a dog. He has great timing. Sets are technical. Just a pro's pro already. So you're plugging and playing. I think he works best as a tackle, and I think he could be good, almost maybe a little bit better as a guard. But tackle is so much more positional value importance that you put him at right tackle, and he still excels there.
So let's just go back to the Browns, Randall. Would you say that was a reach?
I wouldn't say it's a reach based on the player. I think it was just more of a confusing pick to me based on what their needs were. I honestly I would have taken I would have took a wide receiver there. I would have taken Monroe Freeling. I would have took a decent amount of other players there. Ruben Baines. Well, yeah, you could have Ruben Baines on the other side of Myles Garrett. There's a lot of other avenues I probably would have went.
All right. The Dolphins need to get this pick over and done with. Come on.
Your pick is in. Don't worry.
They just traded?
No. It's the Dolphins.
Yeah. Dallas just moved up one.
Yeah, Dallas traded up.
We moved up.
Yep.
They
Somebody wanted it.
One slot.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade.
You guys made us go up.
That means Caleb Downs is going to be the safety for the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
There is no doubt in my mind.
I agree, Greg. I think that's
you.
yeah. They're trying to get to Downs.
What's the trade?
I haven't seen can't be that much, right?
No.
It would only be this is 11. It's only a 50-point value. So it's a late pick. They probably, it wasn't a straight swap, and they probably picked up like a 7 or a 6.
Yeah.
You got to pay the first round tax. I bet it's a fourth. What you got in the fourth department, Greg?
112.
That would be an overpay.
112.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
No?
That's an overpay.
But this has to be because Dallas, I bet Miami called Dallas and said, hey, 2 teams want Caleb Downs right now. What do you want?
Well, 20 is still on the board for Dallas, so it looks like they didn't move any of the first round picks other than that one. So we'll see what the compensation is. But yeah, I wouldn't have jumped up for anything more than a 6 because there's only a 50-point difference.
I don't know. Caleb Downs is my number 2.
Actually, no, they probably did come up with a.
They got 3 fifth-round picks.
Jeff, you're going to have to break down your calculations of what you're doing.
Okay,
after the Cowboys pick. Don't stress the people out, okay? I need to know
the highest 5th round pick value is 43 points, right? So
they're
sitting at 36.
They gave up 177 and 180.
There you go. So 177 and 180. Yeah, 40 points. So they stayed within range. So it's a good trade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, how many picks does Miami have now?
A lot.
A lot.
They're building.
They're just trying to draft an entirely new team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the same number of picks as Bills Steelers do, 12.
Yep.
Crazy work.
Yeah.
Now I saw Jerry get up and shaking hands and stuff. So obviously.
So who do you think the pick is, Greg?
Oh, we all
Caleb Downs. This is no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
For
Josh
sure.
Downs' younger brother. He is easily the best safety in this class. And the reason why I said the Cowboys needed a safety was because of the nickel position. Caleb Downs can play the nickel as well as any cornerback can. Bottom line.
Yep.
And you can put the green dot onto Caleb Downs. There is no reason why you need to put that on your middle linebacker.
Well, you don't really use a mic anymore.
No, exactly.
Right.
You only usually if you're using a sub package with 4 defensive linemen, you're using 2 linebackers. If you're out front, maybe you're using a mic, but they're not really playing traditional mics anymore. So it makes sense. I mean, realistically, you're playing a Sam and a Will in your sub package.
That's right. Yeah.
So it makes sense that if you have a safety that does all of that, he can be your green dot guy. Well, traditionally, it is the mic, yeah. But if you don't have a mic on the field, it's got to be.
I will not be surprised if Miami and Dallas make another pick with the 20th pick as well.
Huh.
Jordan,
You move up, or are you talking about for the 30th pick?
For the 30th pick.
Yeah.
Jordan Brooks goes to Dallas. The Dolphins pick number 20. The Cowboys take number 30. Along with Jordan Brooks.
Wonder what Miami's doing here.
I'm curious as well, especially with
Right.
Jeff doing these calculations. I need to understand what's happening here.
Yes. I always keep it close come draft day. So this way I understand if it's a good trade or not.
Well, after the break, you show us the analysts and the calculations. Because like I said, we could have some people on here like myself who are learning every day with you guys.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you the secret. If you really want to understand the draft chart, you download it. You can find it anywhere on the internet. They have them out there. All right. If you have John Madden football, any of the recent ones, start a franchise, skip the season, go right to the draft. When you want to move up and down in the draft, start playing with different draft combinations. Look at the value of the pick that you want, and it'll be on that chart. Right? And what you do is you have to try and match that value with multiple picks. So if you're picking at pick 5, which is 1,700, and you're at 24, that's 740 points. That's a lot of value. So you'll be trading future rounds to get up that high. What's going to happen is you'll start to understand this is programmed into John Madden football. So when you go to make trades, you can't make these astronomically bad trades because this is programmed in. The computer knows it, and it's not going to give you anything but the value on the chart. So if you really want to understand it, Madden is the ultimate simulator. For people, everybody thinks it's a joke. It is a very big simulator. The playbooks are real.
All right, Caleb Downs is the pick for the Cowboys. Everybody can go home now.
You're just like me with the Raiders. I was like, that's it. Flip the computer. We're good.
He is now 6'3", 275.
Yeah.
That would be a very. I mean, shout out to David Fulcher, who probably is about 275 nowadays. But there was a time when we had giant safeties roam the earth in the NFL. Roy Williams, already mentioned.
Who was the last Cowboy safety to be drafted in round 1?
Yep, right. Bam Bam Cam Chancellor played about 232. There used to be giant safeties. Now not so much because the way the game has changed. You don't see too many. I mean, we're going to see one this year, maybe in the second round, early second probably, a big giant safety. But mostly safeties are essentially bulked up corners nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jeff.
Well, I'll say if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you have to be excited. I know this is why Greg is excited.
That's why I was like, come on, let us know.
I think maybe, and I wonder if Bill will agree with me on this. This may be the closest the Cowboys have come to a Darren Woodson.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about a guy that could play in the slot, could play over the top. He can play in space. He gives you all those different things. You can disguise coverage with him. He'll blitz, and he does tackle. Now, he may not be as hard a hitter as Woodson, but as the combination of skill set, I think he may be the closest they've had to a Woodson.
Yep.
Oof.
Absolutely right, Jeff. Absolutely right.
Yeah. My comparison is not quite so lush. And once again, it shows I'm 1,000 years old. But the player he reminded me most of was Nolan Cromwell of all people. One of those players who sees everything. Cromwell, of course, had played, came into college as a quarterback, got moved over to defense, and of course had a terrific NFL career. If you're at least 50, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But he was one of those guys who won the game from here up. He was a good enough athlete, but he was able to be so good for so long because he saw everything so quickly. He played faster than he would ever time. And Downs, as we all know, was a healthy scratch. He just said, I demur. I don't need to do all that running and jumping. But he is a guy that you can tell he probably was going to test okay, but he knows that the best part of his game is what you see when you watch the tape. You can see him identify motions. You can see him identify down instances and to move players around. You can see him decide whether it makes sense to jump something or do you back off. You can see him telling other players what he sees and guys reacting. There's times when he'll see something and there's a blitz that was called, he'll take the blitz off, and sometimes vice versa, right? They'll be in a coverage and he'll say, you know what? There's nothing occupying you. Just go. He'll tell a guy, just go. And they get pressure or sometimes even a sack. So his own stats don't even tell the whole story because he's helping other people. He's the puppet master. He's really, really another super smart player. And I absolutely hate it that he's going to Dallas, but I think he'll fit in well there. I think he'll have instantaneous success. And he's in my running. He's in the top 3 guys I think have a shot to be Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Old school Cowboy fans will say, great. We have another impact safety with the last name Downs. The last one that played very well in Dallas, Michael Downs in the 80s.
Yep.
Once again, if you're less than 50 or even in your you might even be in your mid to early 40s, but if you're less than that, you're going to want to look some of these players up.
Does this pick come to a surprise for you, Greg?
What the Dolphins do, I have no idea.
No, for the Cowboys, silly. We don't know what the Dolphins have yet.
Well, he's going to make this Dolphins pick, so that's why I'm.
Oh.
But Caleb Downs was my number one.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So.
All right, for the Dolphins, Caden Proctor.
Oh, wow.
There's a little surprise.
That is an interesting. This is either going to be looked on as genius or it's getting someone fired. One or the other.
Yeah, all day.
And they just got there.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, Caden Proctor only gave up 1 sack all year long. I don't know why people think that he's a bad left tackle.
He's not a bad left tackle, but his technique is a bit of an adventure, Greg. Let's be.
Well, yeah, but again, this draft is full of guys like this. So I don't care where these players get picked, Bill. I really don't. It's as long as you're getting drafted, you're good to go. That's the bottom line of all this. It really is because, hey, every draft is a crapshoot. Every single one of them.
But it's also pick 12. And even Caden Proctor, what they've talked about, even, Alabama talking about how when Caden Proctor is in the building, he is one of your best players. You just have to make sure that he doesn't do anything detrimental when he's outside the building, a la weight fluctuation, keeping his weight in check. So I think there is some risk when it comes down to Caden Proctor this high, because now you kind of have to watch him down. Kind of almost like a Zion Williamson thing, right? Like Zion Williamson was so touted, but then he could not keep himself in check outside of the NBA arena, and then that's what was detrimental to him. So the risk is there, where there's a lot of other offensive linemen that you could take otherwise, and I like it because I do like Caden Proctor. I think it's 2024 to 2025 where he lost the weight and then became not as lazy, and with that one sack contributed to his play in 2025. But we still cannot not talk about what risk is involved with Caden Proctor.
Oh, there's risk with every player, though. That's the whole thing.
Caleb. What's the risk in Caleb Downs?
Caleb Downs could get injured, just like any other player.
That's not fair. No, everybody can get injured. It's NFL. Right. It's an aggressive sport. That's right. That's not a risk.
Yeah,
that's not a risk.
Again, this sport is a physical sport. Come on.
Yeah.
So, again,
and I'm talking about weight fluctuation. I'm not talking about injuries.
Greg is right. There's risk associated with every single player, but
that's right.
It's like when you're investing
in the street. I think we're missing the point here.
Right. There's like when you're investing, there's risk involved in every investment, but the risk involved in like a blue cap stock or like a blue chip or municipal bonds is different than some startup that your cousin told you about. Like there's levels to this stuff. I don't dislike Caden Proctor. He is one of the most physically gifted players at his position in the whole draft, but he is riskier than some other players. He's riskier than Monroe Freely, who is also not without his flaws. I think, once again, as I said before, if it works out, this is going to look like a genius pick because he has all-pro potential, but he also could be out of the league in 4 years.
So could Cam Scadaboo, okay? But we're not talking about that. Okay, we're going to take a quick break because we've been here for an hour and 20 minutes and everyone needs water and a snack, and I'm everyone. So if you guys are tuning in, thank you for being here. Hit that like button, and we will be right back, okay?
You're watching Team NBS Media. We are a digital media brand covering sports, entertainment, and lifestyle, with team members all across the country. Through our written content, podcasts, and video content, we bring you fresh and professional content. Interested in joining the team? Shoot us an email or DM. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
What's up? I'm Desmond Powell, host and creator of the Mid-Post Podcast, where you can find raw, pure NBA commentary and analysis, isolation style. Join me every Tuesday as I face up the defense and observe the most intriguing storylines, trends, and moments from across the association. Then, once it's time to shoot, we'll explore other stats and tidbits that are so good they're nothing but net, while others might clink off the rim. And by the end of the show, we'll spread some love and honor an NBA star, past or present, who shine bright from this go-to area of the floor. There are a lot of spots on the floor to get a bucket, but if you really want to score, the mid-post is where you want to be. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss out and tune in every Tuesday on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube, courtesy of the home team, 19 Media Group.
To our 2026 NFL Draft Reactions Show. More breakdowns and insight to come. How's your team looking?
And we're back. All right, so guys, we're still waiting on the Rams pick to be announced, but
they can still get Monroe Freeling here.
Well, I mean, the beautiful thing about this early There's still a ton
Or
of
Mekhi Lemon. I can't hear Jeff.
I'm
I
not
think I
coming
need to
too
come
clear
back.
for
I'll be
you.
right back. I can only hear you, Bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't hear Jeff. Greg is muted.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not muted.
I'll be right back.
I'm not sure why you're not hearing me, but okay. So the Rams pick, we're waiting for it to be announced. We just saw the moves with Dallas and Miami. You made your feelings clear with Caden Proctor. We still got a lot of good players in this range. Give me a synopsis right now of who do you believe the next 5 picks you'll probably see?
Sure. I believe we're going to see Mekhi Lemon was just mentioned. I think it was the Monroe Freeling and Mekhi Lemon in whichever order go off pretty soon. I think that we're going to see Caleb Lomu sometime in the next, you said 5, so I think that's probably one of the players that goes. Let's see. We might even see a guy like Kenyon Sadiq sometime in the next 5 picks. And
you might see him coming off right now.
Right, we might see him coming up right now. That's actually not a bad point. We could see him come off as early as now. But I do think, like I said, that's a player that goes off in the next 5 picks. And Mr. Olavega Ione is another player I think goes somewhere in the next 5 picks.
Yeah. Brandon Aubrey's status, he has a 4-year contract at $7 million a year. That's his status.
I just saw the leak of the pick, guys.
Oh, did you?
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
That's okay. We're about to announce it, so we're all sitting here going like this, just waiting.
I admire your restraint, Randall.
Whoa. Would you look at that?
Ty Simpson.
Wow.
That is the shocker of all shockers, right? We were talking about it, quarterback, do you jump up in the back end of it? Where was Ty Simpson going to go? There are a lot of people saying, well, there may be a team that takes him mid-first. A lot of teams are talking about back end of the first. A lot of people I heard talk about that. And here we are. Of course, Sean McVay going, I could do something with that guy.
What the helly?
Ty Simpson.
I don't think anyone is reacting large enough for what just happened.
Well, I for one am thrilled because it means the Steelers cannot make a mistake by drafting him there. So,
Hey, there you go.
Super excited about
for our
that.
own teams.
Yeah, super excited about that. Here, let me first lead with the positives. My mom always said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. The good thing about Ty Simpson is he has talent. He has an above-average arm. He's a good athlete. The person I thought of when I watched him, if everything works out, he could become Derek Carr, right? He has a lot of Carr-esque qualities. I would still like to see him put on another, probably, somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 12 pounds. Yes, you did joke a pick into existence. Way to go, Steve. I would like to see him handle pressure a little better, but he is a player that has a certain level of mental and physical toughness, but he doesn't always see pressure as well as he sees other. He sees a lot of things coverage-wise. He doesn't see things like you need to see everything. You can't just see the coverage. You have to also see the pressure. And when teams figured out that he doesn't spot pressures, especially teams with good defenses, when you saw late in the season and in the playoffs, things like that, he started taking – he didn't see pressures that he probably should have seen. He started taking more hits than he should. The good news, he doesn't play right away, right? They've got a couple of years probably for him to develop, and by that time, they'll know what he is. And if he's not the guy, they can find another player because they've got some time. Those are the positives.
Okay. I'm still shocked. I don't know. I still couldn't even formulate the question, but the question is, wasn't there somebody else that the Rams needed in order to? I don't get it. Like, is this they're doing like a Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers type of deal where they're trying to, cue Stafford up with somebody that he is molding? It's just, the Rams were this close to the Super Bowl.
Well,
he's going to learn from Matthew Stafford. That's it.
Of course, for time. Let's spin
Bad
it.
situation.
Simpson, he's a lucky guy, right? He's learning behind one of the best quarterbacks in a stellar offense with a great head coach. I mean, as a young rookie, I'd be like, whoa, this is the best option ever. But I'm curious as if you're a Rams fan or if you were projecting the Rams to pick maybe a tight end or a wide receiver or something else in the offensive space, this just feels like a very out of bounds pick. So that's why I am reacting the way I'm reacting, because I'm curious, Randall or Greg or Bill, like who was on your board in your mock to go to the Rams? It clearly wasn't Simpson. So
Malachi Lemon or Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah.
I have Makai Lemon.
Yeah.
Or left tackle.
Yep.
And what you're hearing is the difference between scout view and fan view.
That's right.
Like, scout view is looking at Ty Simpson as a potential starter down the road. He's a guy that needs development, right? Fan view is looking at Ty Simpson as footsteps Falco right now, because the last thing you saw with him was him having footsteps in a big bowl game, struggling because he was feeling people around him throwing the air, throwing at defenders, doing everything wrong, right? So the most recent game is what fans are remembering. The scouts are looking at the whole picture going, we see building blocks there. Yes, he is not currently ready to walk in and start right now. But Sean McVay says, you know what? I look at my locker room. I still have a Super Bowl winning quarterback here who still plays at a high level. Behind him, I have a lot of unknowns. I have Stetson Bennett, to me, who's a good backup, never going to be a starter for me long term. This guy could be that starter when I'm ready to move on from Matthew Stafford. So I understand where McVay is coming from here. Is it a little rich at 13? Maybe. You could have probably moved back and got him a little later, but nevertheless, they feel they got their man.
And they didn't get any phone calls.
Don't you want to consider? Wouldn't you want to consider Makai Lemon though at this point? Like, I get it for sure, but don't you want to win another Super Bowl with Matt Stafford before that hits, sort of thing, and maybe figure that out later? I know that there's the rest of the draft, and I guess you are right at that point because Sean McVay is also a good scout as well. He found Puka Nacua, and he was high on Puka Nacua, so maybe they believe they can find another wide receiver later on in a pretty deep wide receiver room and just get that quarterback to go. So I guess I'm literally right now.
Oh no! Now the Ravens get. Oh,
I own the Penn State guard.
Yeah.
Who we all said
that
was
was
going
an
to
easy
be a
lock.
Raven. We all said he was going to be a Raven.
Yeah.
This is one of those I nailed. Yeah.
It was easy.
Per usual for the Ravens, right?
It is the most Ravenish of Ravening I've ever seen Ravened.
And he is a hell of a good left guard.
Oh, he's so good.
Derrick Henry is going to enjoy getting holes opened by Ione.
The thing I noticed, like people give credit for things like pancakes, whatever. I have something called tacos. When you bend a guy's spine backwards and it looks like he's about to, taco, like he's about to bend. He's done that to a bunch of dudes. Sometimes big, strong dudes. Yeah. And like people that you should not be able to do that to, and he does it to them. And I'm sure they didn't enjoy it. So he's gonna, if you're a chiropractor for an NFL team or whatever, you're going to earn your money because he's going to do some things to people that they will not at all enjoy that will require realignment when he's done.
It's interesting when you talk about, road graders like this guy. Now he's going to go to the NFL. He's going to face a different set of guys, different set of bodies that he's not used to facing. So the learning curves for certain guys are really interesting. We've seen guys like Tyler Guyton need a whole season to not only get to the speed they need to get to, but also stay healthy. He hasn't stayed healthy yet, right? So he's a guy you look at and go, there's still a learning curve on him. And then you had guys like the kid out of North Dakota State last year. They just comes in and they just ace the test right? I'm not leaving the field, he said, and we're going to the Super Bowl with me on this line. So is he going to be that guy that comes in and, he has to take a couple of remedial classes to get to that point? Or are you putting him in the middle of this line in Baltimore and saying, hey, young man, we're hitching our wagon behind you?
Oh, he's a day one starter for me, John.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He's got such athleticism, You just kind of, I mean, the offseason you sit in the classroom and learn, but he's got the athleticism to be able to get ready for week 1 and start week 1. It's a great pick. It's, again, as Bill said, it's very Ravens. And something falls to him, like Malachi Starks, and
always
you can go on a million times of what Ravens just fall into their lap.
Yeah, it really just falls to the
I,
Ravens.
I give Eric DeCosta credit, right? We see a lot of guys that are GM disciples. Right? Hey, Christy, we see you, girl. All right. So, we got a lot of guys that are, GM disciples, a lot of George Young disciples. They never were George Young. I think the best one out of the group you could say was Reese, was a really good, close one. But he worked under, of course, the great one, Ozzie Newsome there, right? Yeah. But he is one of those guys that studied Ozzie to a T because his picks fall in line with a lot of the things that Ozzie did. So give him credit. I mean, he learned from a great mentor, and he's picked up the ball. Now, he kind of dropped the ball a little on that trade, but, overall, you watch the drafts. He hits every draft, and in a lot of NFL franchises right now are looking at that Philadelphia front office and hoping that there's a guy learning from Howie Roseman, because that dude knows how to work a draft. Mm-hmm. And you're hoping that, if you need a GM one day, you could poach somebody that's underneath him that knows what they're doing just like he does and help your team.
Yeah, well, that's what the Titans did when they went and got Mike Bergonzi. He had been Howie's right-hand man for years. So my next 5 top availables are, let's see, Caleb Lomu, Jeremiah McCoy, Monroe Freeling, who we discussed earlier, Mekhi Lemon. And I am a big Chase Basantis guy. I know not everybody is sold on him, but I just thought he's one of the most technically sound guard prospects I've seen in a while. And people talk about like teaching tape or whatever. Like if you wanted to raise your child to like be a guard, you would have them watch Chase Basantis. Because, right? Yes, you say you have a child that you just feel like they're a guard. Like maybe they were an unusually large and aggressive baby. You might say to yourself, one day, my son, my daughter, whatever, you'll be a guard. Instead of having them watch Barney or whatever, Chase Basantis tape. And you can't start them too young, right? No matter how young they are, they can watch Chase Basantis and learn from Chase Basantis. Oh, and here's another interesting drafting team, the Buccaneers. Oh my God!
They got a plethora of edge rushers, which is a need. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be an edge rusher.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of them still left.
Yeah.
Obviously, both Bain and Mesidor are staring them right in the face.
I heard that they really like Mesidor.
Falk is the person I projected to them, though.
I projected, I think, Kenyon Sadiq. I heard they really like Akeem Mesidor because Bowles is on the shortest of leashes for sure. You don't produce in the playoffs this year, you are absolutely gone. Because I thought he was going to be gone this offseason, to be honest with you. So if you draft Mesidor, you got a guy that can step in and actually produce 5-6 plus sacks in his year. That Bowles is basically on the hottest of seats coming week 1.
Yep, true.
And what you're looking at is a team that desperately needed pass rush. They struggled at the edge, right? They added all these guys, but they were more of the down guys, right? He runs an odd front, so he needs those tweeners on the edge. He didn't have it anymore. Shaq Barrett got old. Tryon Shawinka just never
could put it together. He was when people say raw athlete, I think about him because he wasn't just raw, like he wasn't even fully formed, right? And he never quite put it together. That's why I'm a little nervous when people say, oh, he's a piece of clay. And also, sometimes when you try to fire up that piece of clay in the kiln, you take it out, it's like, right? It didn't quite take the shape you were hoping it would. But they have a lot of options. Oh, and there it is. Ruben Bain's off the board.
Yep.
And it's the edge rusher we talked about, right? So he's going to be that guy that Todd Bowles says, you're going to drop. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to set you come off that edge full steam. Him and Yaya Diaby are going to create a nice dynamic.
That's a nice one-two punch,
right? And now you got to see that old school Buccaneer defense that he had when Tom Brady was here. Right. So I think you're going to get back to those days. You got to get the front seven right. He didn't have the edge rush power that he had in the past with Jason Pierre-Paul and all those guys that he had. So now he has it. I think you're going to see a lot more edge pressure from the Bucks now that you got Bain and Shrink and Diaby coming off the edges. Better pick for than going wide receiver here or tight end, because this is what their bread and butter is: strong defense. He had to overextend himself last year with a lot of blitzes. So I see the logic in Ruben Bain here.
And I don't care how short his arms are. I really don't.
No, the only thing that stopped him was a high ankle sprain.
Right.
In college. That's it.
Well, a familiar team is on the board again, the New York Jets.
Yeah, we're saying that a lot tonight.
Right? So they already went edge Bailey at 2. What is this? They can't go Ty Simpson. That's a goner. And we were talking about the
and I don't think they were going to anyway. I think they were
hoping that Simpson went to 33.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Greg. I would think if this is Mekhi Lemon, I think that's a perfect Garrett Wilson compliment.
I'm leaning Lemon too. Other players, it could possibly be, if it's not Lemon.
Omar Cooper Jr.
I could see them considering Keldrick Falk also. They do have they obviously it's a position where you can rotate people through, and it's an energy position, so guys need rest. I wouldn't be shocked if it was Jermon McCoy, even though I think he's going to probably come off the board a little later because of, though he's recovering and looks good, still you do have an injury history, and I can't rule out Monroe Freeling also.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Anybody believe in Geno Smith coming in this year? Do you think the Raiders
Aaron
were just a dumpster fire in itself? Because, he wasn't terrible in Seattle. Do you think that?
No, he wasn't terrible in Seattle, but he had the team to protect him. He didn't have the team to protect him in Vegas, right? The team was
offensive line awful.
But at this point in his career, it really much isn't different from early in Geno's career. You still need a strong running game. You still need a strong defense. The Raiders had neither, and as a result, you had the games that you got from Geno. You over-rely on him. He's going to make mistakes at times, right? If you don't have to rely on him, it's funny that they drafted Geno Smith and Stafford when they're very similar, okay? Mm-hmm. Stafford's a better passer than Geno Smith ever was. But when you look at him, not Stafford, Jesus Christ, I'm butchering names today.
You about Ty Simpson?
No, I'm talking about the Jets.
The draft.
They had last year.
You're talking about
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, yeah.
No. I'm talking about the one that just got his ring with Seattle.
Oh, you mean Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold. You draft both Sam Darnold and Geno. Like I said, Darnold's a better passer than Geno, but both of them are the guys that you don't want to overly rely on their arm. They will make the big mistakes when you overly rely on them. If you have strong running games, and the pick is in, and guess what? It is none of the guys we talked about.
I like Nathan Taylor.
It is Kenyon Sadiq.
There you go.
There we go.
A perfect pick for the just end the season.
It actually is a good pick for them. So I thought about bringing up being able to go 12 personnel. I thought about it. I just didn't say it. I wish I'd said it now. I would look so smart if I had. But I was thinking about that. Now you get to pair two young, really athletic tight ends with each other.
Yeah.
Greg, you are muted, sir.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, well, most teams are using some form of 12 personnel, right? We talk about it. It spreads the front, right?
A lot more 13 too.
Even more, right? People don't realize that. They go, well, isn't it condensing the box? No, it doesn't. It crowds the box, but it doesn't condense the box, right? By putting two tight ends on each side of the line of scrimmage, those defensive ends have to pop out. Those D tackles can't sit tight inside. They got to widen out, right? You can bring people down behind them, but that front does this and it allows you to get to your second level blocks, which is why so many teams are employing 12 and 13 personnel. And if you put them on the same side of the formation, then you have to overly shade your line to those two tight ends, which allows you to, again, motion that move man around and create different blocking matchups on the backside. So there are so many things you do with it. And yes, folks, I am a former offensive coordinator. I understand all this stuff. I've done it enough times. Trust me, I know manipulating defense is what it is, the best thing in the world. It got me a ring. So, but the fact of the matter is, you have those guys that could also go out there and create matchups. And here's a guy that could be a move tight end and create matchup problems, right? Motioning around, getting him on a backside defender that's not a great cover man. It's going to be a great matchup. Flexing him out in the slot, putting him on a smaller nickel. It's going to be a great matchup. So there's going to be so many things you can do with him. And I think they need that kind of X factor matchup. Yes, Garrett Wilson on the outside is a good receiver, but this is an X factor matchup that creates problems where weaker defenders are. So the Lions pick is in.
This should have been Caden Proctor.
I would think that they pivot to Monroe Freeling.
Wow, how about that as a consolation prize?
Well,
and the Eagles don't have anybody coming from the SEC because Georgia and Alabama guys are all going to be gone. Oh, there you go.
Oh, Jamar McCoy is still from the SEC the last I checked.
No, I'm talking about the offensive line.
Okay.
Line.
Bill and Greg, where did you guys have Kenyon Sadiq on your board? I had he was at 33 for me. I'm not as high on Kenyon Sadiq as a first rounder personally.
I'm a little higher than you, but not as high as most. So for me, he is. I'll tell you something.
I think the love of tight ends with how Loveland and who now I can't think of the other guy that came out at the same time, kind of made Sadiq into a first rounder.
Yeah, I mean, I think the middle of the first is not a bad place for Sadiq to go. I thought the marketplace in him would open around 16 and close around 25. I didn't think he was going to make it past 25, and I thought he would not go earlier than 16.
Yeah, I'll say this much. I'm watching how this board is falling. There's going to be some real happy teams in the 20s.
Yes.
Because, we thought the way everybody looking at all the mocks, looking at everything, it seemed like we were going to be very defensive heavy early. And then, offensive guys will go more in the teens. And it seems we've been balanced. We've seen some defensive guys go early. We've seen offensive guys going early. And we're starting to get to the point where some really good defensive players are falling into the 20s. Offensive guys are still on the board. So it's going to be a real interesting set of a couple of picks in the 20s there where we're going to get some players that end up with teams they didn't expect to end up with.
Yes. I'm intrigued by, we just talked about how teams read injury histories. I'll be intrigued by exactly where Jamar McCoy lands because of his injury history. Though he looked good at his workout, that's a workout. It's not the same as playing football, obviously.
Yeah.
But his tape from the previous season, the 2024 tape, I thought he would, if he'd been in that draft class, he would have been no worse than corner 3 in that class and had a legitimate shot at being corner 1 in this class if he had been able to play, which he was not. So the last time you saw him take the field and play a football game was over 420-something days ago, which is not my favorite thing in the world. But he's a really talented player.
Absolutely. So, welcome back, guys.
If somebody leaves or goes on break, my noise cancels out. It goes right away. All my volume. I don't know what's going on. StreamYard.
It doesn't happen to me. I hear you just fine, and everybody.
And I can't hear anybody. It's so bizarre.
The Lions pick is coming in, so they're going to announce that momentarily. And we're going to keep it moving here on Team MBS Media as we're here live day one. You'll see Ashmere in and out. She's co-hosting with me tonight. You'll see these faces again the rest of the weekend. All right, as we're hanging around for day 2 and day 3.
Oh,
we're
talking. They might take Keldrick Falk.
And
for sure.
They might.
Yeah, that would be a solid pick.
I hadn't considered that until this very second, but that could be. So of the players, I think it could be, obviously, as mentioned, Merle Freeling. That's probably where I think the smart money is. I can't rule out them taking another receiver. I don't think that's what they'll do, but I can't rule it out. I can't even rule out Akeem Mesidor. Oh, I definitely can't rule out Akeem Mesidor. He feels very Ryan-ish.
Blake Miller, Clemson.
Blake Miller.
Oh,
Blake Miller, perfect. The guy never missed a game.
Pros.
Yep. And I think he's only missed one practice his entire collegiate
and
career.
He broke his wrist and missed one practice.
Right, and missed one practice.
That's crazy.
That's a guy who'll bite a kneecap right there.
That quote is going to live on forever.
It should be a T-shirt. It should be a sculpture. If they win a Super Bowl, when they put the statue of him in front of the building, it should show him biting a kneecap.
Yeah, all day.
Dylan Thieneman will be the pick for the Vikings.
Yes, everyone.
100%.
That's one that everyone will get right. Congratulations to everyone who
Thieneman.
mocked him to the Vikings. You're all going to get that one right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia tried to move up to 19 to lock up Monroe Freeling, to be honest with you.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, they can move up to 20 and give up 23 and 54. That's not a problem. Not a problem.
Jeff, what's that on the trade chart?
I don't care.
20 for
anytime I don't have to hear Howie Roseman's name, I'm good. So you give us 23 and 54.
That's it. I don't think that adds up.
All right, 98.
No, it does not. That is an overpay of overpays. That is paying a Mercedes. That's paying Mercedes money for a Daewoo.
That's pretty much what that is.
Oh, we were wrong.
Oh,
Caleb Banks goes in the first round.
Oh, wow. Caleb Banks.
And here's the thing with Caleb Banks. Tomorrow night, Skoldock will be on with us. The man is a Vikings fan. He is a foot doctor. And everybody said Caleb Banks has these foot injuries. His foot injuries are just the metatarsal. They are nothing to do with any other part of his foot. He will be fine. That's why they go Caleb Banks. Because, boy, did they need a defensive tackle.
They do. I agree with the need part. Is he the best player available on the board? I think there's a couple of guys I might have taken over him. Here's what I like about Caleb Banks. I have had a chance to talk to him. I've had a chance to watch him. He does love football. It's not the issues with him are not about his commitment to playing the game.
That's right.
However, he is a player that has not always been in the absolute best of shape, right? And that's the other thing about foot injuries is even when they're not super serious in terms of threatening your ability to have a long, successful career, they do threaten your ability to stay in shape. It is difficult to do cardio if you have a foot injury. Now, luckily, he's going to probably be a rotational player, at least early in his career. But he is explosive. He is powerful. He is a competitor. He likes to compete. But he has been held back in the past by two things, his own conditioning, and I think to some extent he has not always protected his own chest, right?
Yeah.
When you let people get into your chest, even when you are a superior athlete, if the other guy who is lower than you, because he's very tall, gets into your chest, even if you are stronger, you're not stronger anymore, right? Because the low man is now in your chest. And the best possible thing you can get is a draw if you're lucky. And sometimes you end up with a guy who's 290-something pounds moving a 330-pound. He's slimmed down a little bit since then. But still, he's not slender. But you're going to be moved around by someone who shouldn't be moving you around. So I'll be interested to see, one, what they do with him in terms of how much he plays early on. And yes, can they get him to be always in the best possible shape? Because when he's in great shape, and he was in great shape at the Senior Bowl, like shout out to whoever's working with him, because he looked redonkulously good at the Senior Bowl.
He did.
Okay, so this better be Dylan Thieneman then.
Greg, you were right. The Eagles are trading with the Dallas Cowboys. I do not have the trade details.
See,
we were both right. I brought up the trade up.
So,
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade.
I'm going to say this, Greg, and for you guys, and you made great points about Caleb Banks, Bill. We always talk about with these players that are bigger than they normally are for the position. How big is too big? With the offensive tackles, when you start to cross that 6'8", 6'9" barrier, all those guys always have a problem with power. And it doesn't mean that they don't have it, but football's a game of leverage, right? So most defenders are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". You're 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". And one of the guys, and we just saw him retire, Dan Skipper. I remember him coming out of Arkansas. Loved Dan Skipper, athletic, all this stuff. But he wasn't powerful. He was 6'9.5". He couldn't get low enough, right? And the same thing with the tackle that was in New England,
Nate Solder. Who started his career as a tight end at Colorado and then outgrew the position.
Yeah, 6'8", right? Orlando Brown Jr., 6'8".
Yeah.
Right.
Well, shout out to Jonathan Ogden, who also was 6'8", I think 6'8" and an 8. But because he had been a great hammer, shot put and discus guy, he had great bend. He had great flexion.
Yeah.
And so he was able to deal with those, Elmas Dumervilles of the world, despite being the height that he was.
And I don't care how big Travis Burke or Markel Bell is. I want either one of them. Either one of them. I don't care how big they are. If you can play the right tackle position better than Terrence Steele, come on down. There you go.
Well, Terrence Steele is 6'7". He's on that cusp of being too big for the position, right?
Yep.
Well, so 6'6". You don't see too many D tackles 6'6", and for the reason being, they don't always get low enough, right, to win at the line of scrimmage. So is that was the biggest problem with his game? Is it just because he's too big, or is it just that the fact that he doesn't have the bigger motor or the quickest first step to win at the line of scrimmage? So that's always something that we always want to look at with players like this, because sometimes it's just the fact of the matter is you are low, just not low enough compared to the guys you're facing.
Yeah. When we think about the great
Howie Roseman and the Joneses have made deals before.
They have.
You will not see Jerry Jones make a call.
Micah Parsons.
Yep. But again, you will not see them make a phone call to the Giants. There's no way. Not after what John Mara did to Ezekiel Elliott. And when Jerry, I was behind Jerry on that move. He wanted to rip apart John Mara for what he did to Ezekiel Elliott. Rip him apart. And Steven had to hold the old man back. That was decent of him. But again, Monroe Freeling.
There we go.
Holy mother of
Howie Roseman does it again.
No, that's the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, it's the Panthers. Okay.
Good pick. Monroe Freeling is that guy. He's going to be a decade plus left tackle.
He's shocked that several tackles went before him because, we talked about a decade plus, but here he is waiting his turn. Almost, he's knocking on the 20s.
I think his first year might look a little rough if he starts all 17 games. I think he's more of a ball of clay that you kind of work through, but that ball of clay can turn into that 10+ starter. He's got good active footwork for 6'7". He's a little bit lighter, so he moves well, but he still has that good initial punch and has good pad level. I'm a big fan of Monroe Freeling.
Yep. A lot of things you said about Nate Solder apply to him, except he's stronger.
Yes.
Nate Solder always struggled with lower body strength.
Yeah.
And that is not an issue that Freeling has. He has a good, solid low base. At times, he opens up too much. He opens the gate, sometimes too much to inside moves and things like that. And, that can be coached.
So was it for pick 114?
Yep. And
It
something
was?
else.
So what was let me get the details on that.
It was
Dallas and then Philly.
It was 23, 114, and 137.
Beautiful.
Eagles received 20. That's it.
Okay,
Awesome.
so
Awesome.
3 spots, 90 points. So let's look at 114.
So they could get Thieneman.
So
That'd
might.
be crazy.
But
That would be.
but they take Makai Lemon.
66 here and 137.
They take Makai Lemon.
A slight overplay.
Well, we'll see. I think it's
Slight
one of those
overpay.
two players.
It seemed like that third pick might have been a slight overpay when I was thinking about that.
No, it's
very,
not.
very slight.
No, it's not. It's not an overpay. It's going to the Cowboys' favor. Stop talking about a bad trade. Don't do that. No.
Right.
I mean,
It's
because
already
they
done.
technically,
It's already in the books.
With the point difference, they could have gotten a 7 from Dallas.
Oh no. We need our 218 pick.
Well, that wouldn't have been enough, but it would have been close.
Oh, hey, Jeff. Man, you're good. Dallas is also receiving a 2027 7th-round pick.
Oh, there it is.
Nice.
Well, no,
Right.
now that really is an overpay.
Now that's an overpay, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
that's on the other side.
Yeah.
More overpay. There you go, Greg.
Rip. Wow.
I mean, it's not a fleecing,
No.
but you got a couple of extra dollars on the back end of that. It's
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, you can get 100 points over on that. You know, you got. You said 2-8. What was the last pick? The future pick was it 7?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that doesn't even.
Yeah,
You're in the
2027
count right now. Yeah.
Makai Lemon to the Eagles. There goes.
Okay.
Obviously, that basically confirms A.J. Brown to the Patriots, of course. But great pick. I mean, I think I might be the lowest out of all you folks on Makai Lemon. I'm interested to see how he works out. Devonta Smith was pretty undersized. He works out well at that high point. I'm just concerned a little bit about his size profile matched with his speed profile transitioning to the NFL. But the best thing that I love about Makai Lemon is his tight window catches. He has the silkiest hands in the draft. It is impressive. Somebody could be smothering Makai Lemon, and if a ball is a foot away from him, he'll snag it like it's basically suction cup to his hands. One of the most impressive things to watch this year.
And he's going to play in the mid to high 190. He'd slim down like guys tend to do to run.
Yeah.
Not that speed is his game anyway, but he breaks tackles. I mean, I don't know if you watched him after the catch. He's not wispy. He's not weak. He's a guy that can break tackles, even though he's not exactly a giant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he only played one bad game last year, and that happened to be against Leonard Moore of the Fighting Irish, and Leonard Moore chewed him up.
He had some bad I mean, I think it was the Nebraska or Wisconsin game was average at best.
I think the vision for him is not so much the Z. I mean, he'll play some Z, but he's going to be their slot. And you look at his game, he fits what they want in the slot. The guy that's going to catch those RPO screens, the guy that's going to work in the slot, get you those 3rd and 6 catches for first downs. Think of Shaheed in Buffalo. You know, I mean, Shakir in Buffalo. Okay?
Yeah.
That is going to be his role. You know, yeah, you'll play some Z, but you're going to move into the slot. You're going to be our crucial catch guy. You're going to be our zone breaker in the middle. You're going to get some gadget plays. You're going to be that guy for us. And I think that's what the vision for him is going to be. Not so much on the outside as much, you know, when you go to your 12 personnel sets, yeah, he's going to be outside. But I think when you look at it, he's going to be that guy because they're going to start to use Devonta Smith more in that main role. So I think he's going to be that guy that's going to be the slot matchup. And then I think they'll add another receiver to go outside and help out there too when they want to go with their, 13 and their 11 personnel in their empty backfield.
I'm glad I don't have the
agree,
sound.
Jeff.
I'm glad I don't have the sound on because those people in Pittsburgh are going insane. It's the Steelers picking.
Watch.
So
Yeah, right. Good call.
So one thing that was just said about Randall about height, weight, speed. How does he compare to Emeka Egbuka in height, weight, speed? Almost exactly the same, right?
Bingo.
True. What is Mekhi Lemon's speed though? What did Emeka run? Because I see Mekhi Lemon as high
4.4s or low
4.5s.
Yeah.
And like as we talked about, Shakir was a 4.41 guy.
Yeah, Shakir is a different kind of speed guy,
for sure.
But Egbuka.
No, I'm thinking more
like,
body type, and you're talking about it's going to
Yeah.
be more skill.
No, I
It's
got
going to be more route. They're going to route him. He's going to be one of, if you want to really think, he's a bigger version of Beasley. Cole Beasley was that guy. Wasn't a burner down the field, but he was an excellent route runner that broke down the defense in the inside. And I think that's what they're going to do with him. Can he get vertical?
People forget how fast Cole Beasley actually was. I think he ran 4.39.
Yeah.
But you didn't really see him like
Beasley could scoop.
Yeah.
Now he wasn't used as a burner, but he could run.
Yeah.
Big time track guy in high school.
Yeah.
All right,
I like
Bill.
Lemon. I think he's going to work.
Who do your Steelers pick here?
I mean, I'm starting to get excited about the chances of getting Thieneman, but if it's not him, other players I would consider. I wouldn't throw myself in front of a train if we got Chase Basantes. He's a good player. Caleb Lomu's a good player. I think he would fit. Even Keldrick Falk would be a player that I would certainly could see us, fitting into what we do. I can't rule out Mesidor. In fact, Mesidor is very Steelerish, right? You know how some players just look like they fit. I could see a Akeem Mesidor there. The things I like about a Mesidor is he does. People talk about edge setting. Mesidor sets the living daylights out of an edge, right? He will set an edge, and as a bonus, he's Canadian.
That's right. And Renee Conga is also a Canadian.
Ooh, I love me some Renee Conga.
All right, Joe.
You want to know the one thing I agree with Steeler fans is that towel is terrible.
Yeah, I'm so with you.
Yeah, that towel is always.
Yeah.
Every time I see it, it takes me back to that soundbite from NFL Films. That terrible towel.
Yeah.
The late great Myron Cope.
Yes. Man, oh man. Could they make this pick any longer?
Well,
there it is. That's a good pick. I think that's a very good pick. Max, I hand it, sure.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versatility on the
you.
inside and the outside. Okay. Broderick Jones had the setback, if I'm not mistaken, Bill, with his back injury.
Oh, Broderick Jones. So for those that were there watching the show, when the Steelers, who rarely trade up, were trading up as Christian Gonzalez was sliding down to them, I got so excited because I was like, there's no way we're going to miss out on this chance to get Christian Gonzalez. And then we traded up to get Broderick Jones.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I feel you on that.
But once again, and all those guys who grew up playing basketball, right? There's a lot of basketball backgrounds amongst the tackles in this class. Came to football a little bit later, didn't take the game seriously until he's about 16 years of age. A lot of development still to be done, but what you like about him, once again, athlete, really smooth mover, like really moves well. Almost like he's on skates. Now that's both a good thing and a bad thing. Despite the fact he's a big guy, he can get overpowered at times because he doesn't always know how to drop anchor. But I think he's going to be a player that gets better. His best football is ahead of him, and yeah, I was excited about getting Thieneman. I was excited about some of the guys who were there, but he's a player with a tremendous upside.
Now he was born in Nigeria, so I don't know if he qualifies for the international.
He does not. He did play. He came here and played, I think, at least 1 or maybe 2 years of high school football.
Okay.
And then played obviously college here. So he's considered a he's an American in terms of his football eligibility for the IPP program.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find his soccer tape. I would like to see how he played, what he played.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like got to be goalie, of my guess. But
yeah, and his basketball tape, which I have seen, is pretty darn good too.
Nice.
But shout out to the NFL, right? We talk about crossing borders to find talent, right? They're hitting up Africa.
Oh, I think I know what this pick is.
They're hitting up Africa for everything.
Chase Besantis will be the Chargers pick.
Chase Besantis would a good bit. Yeah, I mean, we have the potential of like UR Bernard that it could be a late or a UDFA that looks like an athletic freak.
He is an athletic freak, yeah.
He is an athletic freak. I apologize.
Hey. Don't talk about UR Bernard because he'll pick at 218, okay?
That's fine. Don't.
I'm waiting to see. I'm actually curious what the Fighting Harbaugh's pick here. You know,
I think this is a good pick. They need offensive linemen.
Yeah, Besantis is the guy that they should take.
They could take Emmanuel Pregnon, whatever their choice is, sort of thing. But I think Besantis is better than Pregnon.
I'm leaning Besantis. Other players that could be at least considered would include, once again, the aforementioned Keldrick Faulk. I wouldn't be shocked if they took Tiedemann, but I don't think that's the pick. Mesidor is another player I think might be in consideration.
They definitely need edge.
They definitely got long in the tooth there. And the pick is Mesidor. Come on down.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guy that feels like a Charger, also still like a Steeler too. But they, once again, they're physical. They want to be physical, right? They're a team that the Harbaughs, both of them, talk about physicality ad nauseum, right? So if they get a chance to get a guy who plays the game with controlled violence, which is exactly what Akeem Mesidor's game is, he wins immediately. He's not the most bendy. He's not the most explosive, but he gets on you quickly, uses his hands to maneuver you into a bad situation. And his ability to counter back to the inside, once he has a really good long arm stab, obviously, but also he's got a chop and rip. He's got a really good double hand swipe. Like he's got all the top moves, and he has them at a high level. Like some guys have a move, but they don't land it very often. The moves he uses land, and he lands them violently, like a boxer would land a punch. Guys get rocked, right? Guys are being taken back on their heels by him. If you're looking for like a sort of comparison, like Kyle Vanden Bosch, or like he, even though he's not huge, he plays like a guy who's like 270, 280 pounds. Yeah, he is about. I guess he is. He's bigger than a lot of the other edges in this class, but he's a true defensive end, right? People use the term edge, which I always think is sort of like a tweener guy. He's not. He's a true defensive end.
Yeah,
you can stand him up if you want to occasionally, but he's a D end, a real full service defensive end, and I think he's a fantastic fit.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, what can you say other than the fact that, they need it? We talked about it, long in the tooth at the position. Bosa was the guy that last picked. They signed or they traded for Khalil Mack. All those guys are old. By NFL standards, those guys are gone or old. So you had to get younger. You had to get some real juice in the room. This is a guy that brings juice. You look at the body type, right? 6'3", 280.
Yep.
Usually that's the thicker kind of DN that's more the run stopping, that traditional that Leo that's there to stop the run and be a power rusher. He's not so much the speed off the edge, but this dude that flies. Okay? He gets out of his stance quick. He does a lot of the reason why that Miami defense was so formidable was because of that front four. Bain and Mesidor on the outside. were trouble for every team that they faced.
Yep.
And then the inside guys clogging.
Shout out to Ahmad Moten.
Yeah. So you had a very good front four that made a whole defense better. And we talk about, the three guys that Georgia has that make the defense better. Well, here you have four that they could do anything they wanted behind it. So these guys are going to be split up around the NFL making plays for new teams, and they're going to come in making plays. I don't see too many of them struggling coming into the NFL. They may not come in and be 20 sack guys year one, but these guys are going to get you 6, 7, 8 sacks and a lot of pressures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. This pick will be Malachi Lawrence, the edge from UCF. I picked this with Jeff on Epic Mock 26. Of course, that was at pick 27. But I was told before Brian Broaddus, before Peter Schrager ever mentioned Malachi Lawrence, that Malachi Lawrence is absolutely loved. And his defensive line coach, Marcus Dixon, the former Cowboy, was his coach at UCF. That's why they moved down.
That's a feel old moment for me. I scouted Marcus Dixon.
I remember Marcus Dixon. and unfortunately, his career was kind of derailed by accusations off the field. And when he finally got on the field, it affected him. But it's good to see he's made good with his life after all of that. So.
One of the guys that coached him in college was one of my old high school teammates. Shout out to Keith Goganis. So I got a chance to know him a little bit in his time at Hampton after he transferred. But my next top 5 left available, of course, the Chase Basantas, who we've mentioned very recently, is a player I think could go very soon. Keldrick Falk, who I've mentioned. Casey Concepcion is someone I think comes off the board soon. And of course, we just talked about Thieneman, and of course, Omar Cooper Jr. are all players I think are going to hear their names called very soon.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if it's not Malachi Lawrence.
I'm waiting for my lovely co-host to pop back up.
I mean, obviously you just mentioned Lawrence, but I mean after that, like the next those I think those guys are the next 5 or 6 picks. Those guys will go.
Yeah.
Lawrence is an interesting player because he has we talk about first step. He has a really great first step. He's another guy that really excels at the long arm stab. He doesn't have the full bag of moves, right? He doesn't have all the moves. He's like a rawer version of Laiatu Latu, right? If you're looking for sort of someone he's somewhat like. He's not as developed because Latu had, you would have thought Latu had been in the NFL for 3 years when he was coming out. He didn't have that kind of bag, not as deep a bag as Latu, but similar physically, similar strengths. He also has some weaknesses, including the fact that he isn't the strongest cat in the world. But if you don't care that much, of course, he'll be getting an NFL weight room, and that'll help him.
Thank you very much. I called it weeks before Peter Schrager.
Yes.
I said Malachi Lawrence was going to be the pick for the Cowboys. There you have it.
Yes.
So what do you think about his run defense? I think the question with Malachi Lawrence is a lot of people think that his run defense is above average, and a lot of people think that it's below average. I see him more starting as a DPR sort of guy and trying to figure it out in the NFL. But I do think that's probably like one knock, but I think it's a great pick. Don't get me wrong, Greg. I was on board for Malachi Lawrence at 26 for Buffalo. I really like the player. I agree with you, Bill. I'm just curious about how his run defense transitions into the NFL.
Yeah, I think his run defense struggles because he's still kind of undersized, right? You look at the frame, long linear frame, doesn't have a lot of weight on it, right? Yeah. So as he learns to redevelop his frame, he'll get some of that power. We've seen it with other guys. Randy Gregory was rail thin when he came into the NFL, got better as he went along. But as he got bulkier, right? You talk about guys that get bulkier. He'll get bulkier up top because to me, there's 2 places he's going to handle the block with power. He's got to start at the anchor with the legs, and it's up top with the extension of the arms to keep the defender off you. Right? Once he gets the strength up top and on the bottom, I think you're going to see a better player against the run. But you want him to do it in the right proportion where he doesn't lose that burst that he has off the edge. What did you see with a lot of these UCF defensive ends / line edge rushers? that they have coming out all over the years, a lot of them get undrafted or they go late because they're either undersized or in this situation where they don't have a lot of power to them. Do they translate over? Do they struggle with a lot of things as far as getting off of blocks, things of that nature? So the scheme they use kind of doesn't really serve those guys for the draft, but he's such a really, really tough athlete that it overshot all of those problems that you normally have with those guys, right? You remember Big Cat 2 years ago was one of those guys, long frame, nice burst, not exactly a lot of pass rush repertoire, but got swallowed up in the running game at UCF a lot, right? So that's been a kind of a plague for those guys. He's the one that's been able to kind of break that trend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 2 for 2.
You are.
You are. Yeah. Okay. I can't deny that.
Do you have? Well, since Greg, you're on a roll, do you have this pick also?
I will cry tears if it's Casey Concepcion.
And
I think it's going to be Casey Concepcion.
Cooper. Yeah, I'm thinking Concepcion or Cooper.
I think they go to Omar Cooper.
I can see Cooper.
Ashby, I think this is the perfect time to drop out trivia question.
Okay, great. Can't wait. While we wait, we've got this question. How many Heisman Trophy winners were number 1 overall selection in the NFL draft? Don't answer it now, though.
Yeah, we'll come back with the answer in 2 picks.
Yeah, everybody, watchers, viewers, commenters, lovers, haters, everybody put your answers in the comments. And then after we analyze the Browns pick, we'll go back and I'll give you the answer. All right. So I missed AJ Brown is going to the Patriots. The first Oregon Duck was drafted, right? Did I miss that?
Yeah.
And Greg is 2 for 2. Okay. Seems like
Yes, he is more than just a guy that is an avid supporter of that team. He actually understands his draft room. So when you have people that on here that are, they cover a team and they understand how the team operates, those are the people you should listen to. Don't just always listen to the loud ones. There's plenty of loud ones out there, but not a lot of substance. This guy has substance, and it can be loud too. It can be loud.
Yes.
Don't discredit the loudness, okay?
I would have loved a 2nd round pick, but okay.
It's okay. You got 2 first rounders. It counts.
Yep.
Having 1 first rounder and no 2nd round pick is very lonely.
Yeah.
But you do get to wait till in the second part of day 2 and make another pick.
Which Jeff says flies by.
So tomorrow we'll be dressed to the nines again. Unfortunately, Ashby won't be hanging out with us. But you guys want to leak any color combinations for tomorrow?
Do I? I might.
Everyone can be bright like Bill.
Oh, well,
pinks and yellows and orange.
Oh, my. Okay.
Because we only do suits day 1 and day 2. We're blue collar day 3, right? So,
that includes you, Bill.
Sorry, Randy.
Yeah, okay. I'll lose the tie at least for
there you go. There you go. Right. He'll lose the tie. He'll unbutton the top 2 buttons. And
I will. I will do that.
It's his blue collar day, right? I'll give you all a hint. Think spy versus spy.
Casey Concepcion just went to the Browns.
There we go.
There it is.
My question for the squad. Where are you ranking KC among the wide receivers, and is this a good pick for the Browns? Let's ask Bill.
He's my wide receiver 4, and he is a RAC or YAC monster. Like, that's what makes him so special. We will talk about, like, throwing a pass that goes maybe 8-9 yards in the air, but it turns into a 20-30 yard play, it's because of players that, one, know how to see the field, see where that first step should go, even though they're not seeing it by looking, right? They're using their peripheral vision, their understanding of the defense, because your full attention's to the football. But he's not a giant or anything, but he's very strong. He's pound for pound a very strong guy. He can run through tackles. And people mentioned trying to, sort of cheap comparison. They were bringing up, a fellow USC receiver to try to compare him to, St. Brown. And really, the guy who, to me, is the most like St. Brown is actually Casey Concepcion. He plays more like St. Brown than does Mekhi Lemon. But he's terrific after the catch. He's also going to help you in the return game. He's he's returned punts and kickoffs in his past. But the thing I like most about him is he's very QB friendly. Like, you heard the term QB friendly. Even though he's not a big target, he understands how to make sure the quarterback can see him. He has a good sense of where the quarterback's eyes are and goes to find the quarterback's eyes in those second reaction play situations. Remember those times you get all frustrated because the quarterback has maybe shaken off a defender or has eluded a defender, and now there's someone streaking down the sidelines wide open, but the quarterback doesn't see him. Concepcion realizes where the quarterback is, what he can see somehow. He has a really good sense of that. And instead of just running down the sidelines, invisible, he breaks towards the middle of the field, gets his attention, and then may, sort of widen out from that point to get away from the defense, but first gets the quarterback's eyes on him. He's very smart about that. I'm a big fan of this player and this pick.
You're kind of describing what he could encounter in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. You never know what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's got to redirect and reimagine where Deshaun Watson is leading. Just because Greg said Shedeur is not the starter, even though the ESPN depth chart shows Shedeur as 1 and Deshaun is 2.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
Watson is washed, but he still makes a whole lot of money.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, he might be washed, but that contract isn't.
Yeah.
He looks so bad. There's no way. Like, Shedeur Sanders has to beat him out.
Well, I'm gonna say Caden McDonald is the pick here for the Bears.
Who's the next edge available? Cassius Howell. I think they could use an edge too. I had to keep Mesidor going here. But
there's a few things that they. I still wouldn't be shocked if Basantis leaves the board here. We talked earlier about Tyneman. That's another possibility. This might be Keldrick Faulk's area. And then last player I'll mention, who I think people like, and I could see him going earlier than some people might expect, is Jacob Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah.
What is the strongest need for Chicago, Randall?
I would say that it is edge rusher or that nose tackle, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
When it comes to edge, I'm very curious as to how they see Cassius. How I thought it was more Akeem Mesidor fits the Chicago Bears sort of thing. I think it's pass rush personally, and you kind of find a guy that you can make work. I like Cassius Howell. I mean, I love the speed in him. I know that he's got outlier arms, but he's always had that, just like Ruben Bain, and he knows his deficiencies. His first step sets him up well. He has good timing at the snap, and he wins around the bend against a lot of difficult tackles this year.
Yep. So for me, if you're talking about the pass rushers, they're sort of at each end of the spectrum, right? You have this extremely developed guy in Cassius Howell who isn't quite what you want physically. Then you have essentially, when God made a classic defensive end, he constructed Keldrick Faulk. If you squint, you almost feel like you're looking at Myles Garrett when you look at Keldrick Faulk, right, in terms of body type. The problem is he doesn't know how to rush the passer as well as someone like – he doesn't have the knowledge, the bag, as we say, that a guy like Myles Garrett had coming out. He's raw. He's also one of the youngest players in the whole draft. I think he's 20 years and 6 months or 7 months or something. So he's not even legal to buy a drink yet. But he has he has long arms, broad shoulders, narrow waist. Like, he looks like what a pass rusher should look like. he just isn't as consistent on tape as you might love.
Great 2024 production for him, and I still believe in that 2024 sack production.
Yes.
Over the 2025, I do agree.
Yeah. And I think people figured him out a little bit, and also he didn't have quite as much surrounding talent. So that I think explains sort of the drop off, because he doesn't have a big giant bag. He doesn't have really a single counter move that really works consistently. And once people figure out what your main one or two moves are, if you don't have a third or a fourth, it's going to hurt you against some of the better tackles. So he needs to deepen that bag.
But his pressure rate was still very high.
Yep. Which is what guys do when they don't know how to finish, right? They
Exactly.
Right.
But again, Marcus Lawrence was never going to be a 10.5 sack artist. But the man brought pressure, and that pressure led to a whole lot of fumbles and interceptions, etc. So,
yep.
All right.
We had a trade, by the way, where the
Bills.
Texans jumped up from 28 to 26.
My boy, Oregon, baby.
And okay.
Texans got 26 and 91. Bills got 28, 69, and 167.
All right, there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
Write that down for me, Ashmere.
I know. I'm like, hold on.
I want to get this. I want to get this up for the current pick. So,
first of all, go Ducks. Second of all, Randall, drop it. Drop the trade.
Yeah. Texans get pick 26 and 91. Bills get 28, 69, and 167.
167.
Brandon Beane always finds weird ways to get like 3 picks,
26
5
and
picks. 26, 91 for the Texans. Bills get 28, 69, and 167.
Okay.
So the Bills now own 165, 167, and 168.
Wow, just stack them up.
Yep.
Okay, so you're only looking at a 40-point difference between 26 and 28. So let's see, 26 was 700. They got
what's the difference? Yeah, between 69 and 91.
He could be hitting the club in Pittsburgh. It'll be popping. It's insane in there right now.
Dylan Thieneman, I know we haven't talked about Dylan Thieneman, but man, his Purdue tape shows that he had 4.3 speed, which was absolutely incredible. He's an athlete who can really play anywhere on that field.
Yep.
Thieneman is a safety one if Caleb Downs was not in this class. But Thieneman moves all the way around. He can play in the box. He has the range to play out in center field as well. He's a good tackler. He is smart, instinctual. He's got it all. He can come down at 205. He can hit the quarterback as well. I had 2 quarterback hits this year and 4 pressures, almost 100 tackles, 4 tackles for loss as a safety, under 10% missed tackle rate. Smart kid, just all around great pick for the Bears. If I'm not mistaken, their strong safety was somebody that they picked up from Buffalo that is not good.
Correct.
That I can't think of right now. Cam Lewis. Yeah. Who was our dime cornerback.
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
I mean, watching these highlights, I think the Bears got a really great addition. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but
shouldn't have left the 20s or the teens. I mean, great pick.
Yeah, they got a player.
Bit of an overpay here.
I'm with you, Randall. I thought he was low. At first, I was like, "What do you mean leave his 20s? Like, how old is he?" But I got you.
So the Texans jumping up, gave up almost 100 points on that trade.
Ooh, we've got another.
Yeah, because they by moving back 2 slots, it based on what they did there.
Wait,
the Bills they gave up 36 points compared to 932.
Sorry, what were those numbers again, Jeff?
So 836 is what the Bills gave up. They got 932 in return.
Wow.
All right, looks
That's
like
an over.
Have another.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade.
Sounds like the Niners and the Dolphins have traded. Dolphins trade up to San Francisco's 27.
Okay, yeah. All right, we're in business, folks.
49ers get 30 and 90.
Okay.
30, 90. And what did Miami get?
27.
27.
Just 27?
Yeah.
That's all Adam Schefter tweeted.
Oh, boy. Okay, so we're looking at a 60-point swing here between the two picks. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, 30 and 27, 60 points, 680 and 620.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's see what pick 90 is worth. 140.
Well, the Niners love a nice low ball, you know.
So they overpaid.
This could be low move.
They
That's a
overpaid
good
by
call,
80.
right? Well, he did sign the 2-year extension. Could this be Texans? I think go guard. Keelan Rutledge. Hey,
You got
Greg.
it. You got
Greg,
it.
well done.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
Hey, I think you were the only one with Rutledge in our first round mocks.
that's right.
Good job.
Wait, do we have a mock board for you guys by chance? My producer, do we have a mock board?
Well, our mocks all had the Bengals still in the.
Oh, well, that's okay. We'll just count that one. Let's see here. Where am I?
See, I had the Seahawks taking Rutledge.
So this is the revised Bill mock. I got you. So, Greg, tell us, Keelan Rutledge, great pick here for Houston.
Yeah, everybody never talks about Georgia Tech. It's all Georgia. Haynes King is a quarterback who should be a lot higher on the mock boards than he is. I don't know who he smacked, who he didn't kiss. I have no idea, but that man deserves to be a lot higher on the draft boards than he appears to be going. And Rutledge is a very good guard. He's a very good guard.
All right, let's go back to our trivia here. And if you've been on here for 2 hours and 36 minutes with us, please drink some water. My question was, how many Heisman Trophy winners were #1 overall selections in the NFL draft? Bill is excluded from answering this question because thanks to Bill, I got the question. So, Randall, what is your answer?
Cool. I don't listen. I get Jeopardy paralysis when it comes to trivia. I'm so bad at it. I'm gonna go B25.
Okay,
you are correct. It's 25.
Hey, see, multiple choice. I don't freeze up that much because I can guess.
Great job. And if you answered that in the comments, you better be following Team NBS Media. Okay. My next trivia. Which draft held the most Hall of Famers? 92, 64, 77. This will not be answered for another 2 picks, so take your time. All right, thank you, everyone. Dolphins back on the board. I feel like I'm having deja vu here because they have so many picks.
I know, and they keep moving.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to hear
Like-
Miami.
And they will
all the
continue
time.
to keep
Stop.
moving.
Get over it.
That's
Get
got to
over
be the
yourself.
Jimmy Johnson method because Jimmy was always bouncing around draft boards, grabbing more picks. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have so many top 100. You might as well move around and get your guys.
yeah,
Sure.
I think this might be Denzel Boston if I had to take a guess,
It was no different than the Cowboys.
I think it might be Omar Cooper Jr.
or Omar Cooper. Good call.
They made trades for both draft picks in the last time that they had 2 picks in the first round as well. Felix Jones and Mike Jenkins.
So we're thinking wide receiver.
They need it.
The desperate need. Yeah, I was just going to say. The
Yes.
desperate need of wide receiver.
Yeah.
They've
Hey,
got
Malik
nothing.
Willis. Here's $20 million to throw to nobody.
Well,
you'd be surprised how often that happens. Oh, and they went to commercial on us. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make us wait for Miami, folks. You know, I guess you got to be kind of Miami cool and you know.
Easy breezy.
You know, wait, you know. But,
wait, when you did the math, I was going to say, when you did the math, was the Niners pick trade good?
So, yeah, the Niners, by going backwards, overpaid. They overpaid by 80 points. They could have gotten another 4th or 5th round pick to kind of close that gap a little.
But again, there is no quarterback tax this year. The drafts are not going to be the trades are not going to be anywhere near as big as they have been.
Yeah. I know who the pick is.
Oh,
so do I.
Well, tell us, Jeff.
Yeah.
It is going to be cornerback Chris Johnson, San Diego State.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yep.
San Diego State, pop off.
Yeah.
I'm a big
Aztec coming off the board right now.
I use my cornerback 3. I'm a big fan of Chris Johnson. He moves very well. Super high IQ zone corner. Good frame at 6 foot, 193. 4.4 speed. 38-inch vert. 10-foot broad. He's got good explosion. He's got a good strength profile as well. 41% reception rate when targeted, and he had 43 targets this year. He wasn't stirring away from it total, but great zone guy. Really, really twitchy when he moves, can mirror guys very well. Good tackler. Ball locating can be worked on, but that's not too big of an issue. But I do think he is one of the best zone corners in this class all day.
You know, that's a term I hear more and more. I think it's getting overused in scouting. But he's one guy I will say it applies to, twitchy. A lot of guys are getting really into the overusing the word. Twitchy's a special trait. Not everybody's twitchy. But he's one that is. So it applies to him for sure.
I'm glad you said that because I feel like the last couple of years I've been reading descriptions. That word is literally everywhere. And I was like, who's actually the definition of the term twitchy? So I'm glad I wasn't losing it.
It's become an ultra popular term.
Yes.
With a lot of people, it doesn't always apply to.
Correct. The thing I like most about him is what he doesn't do. He doesn't take the cheats.
Yes.
Right. He doesn't fall for double moves. Doesn't fall for play action fakes. He doesn't fall for stuff. He is a very, very, very disciplined player. He really understands when it makes sense to take a chance and when it does not make sense to take chances. I really like him a lot. And I am thrilled that he's going to a situation where he's probably going to see the field really early.
Sure.
Really good football player.
Well, the New England Patriots are picking 28th now.
We haven't even talked about New England. Should we talk
Bills
about
just acquired 125.
So now I know where Omar Cooper is going.
Yeah.
But why, if we have AJ Brown going over there, allegedly?
I think they're trying to ship Kayshon Boutte as well, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You guys were all wrong. It's an offensive tackle. Caleb
Lomu.
Oh, Lomu. Okay.
Interesting.
It's about time Lomu finally went off the board. I thought he could have gone off the board 7 or 8 picks ago. So he's a good football player.
Bill, is he going to right tackle?
I'm assuming that. I mean, he projects to. Some people think he projects inside to guard. I think he's a right tackle.
I agree.
They also moved ahead of the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Is a very important thing because Lomu would have been a very good pick to protect, that guy. That guy that you don't like, Ashmere.
Well, then good. Shout out to Mike Vrabel. Protection across all of them.
Right, yes. That's a phrase I don't know if we'd hear tonight, but yes.
I had to throw it in at some point.
That was incredible.
So many picks left.
Top notch. Top notch.
But anyways, I'm still glad that it did go to Kansas City if you guys are speaking so highly. So I'd love for Randall to give me a little bit of a breakdown of Caleb joining the Patriots and helping Drake May.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they have, with taking Will Campbell last year, definitely looking to lock up tackles for Drake May, which is the most smart thing to do. Get your offensive line ready for that, for your quarterback, because, you know, they squeaked into the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Obviously, you can see what the result was in the Super Bowl. And now they really just need to bolster up and be smart. If they're going to attack, as in, I want to get back to the Super Bowl this year, I think that's a detriment. What you need to do is you need to do the non-sexy thing. You need to re-bolster your foundation and make sure that your longevity, instead of just chasing down a Super Bowl where you could run out of cap and then have to reset early in Drake May's career. So it's a smart move. You move him into right tackle, bolster up that offensive line, helps out Travion Henderson in the run game as well, because he should have to shine. So it's a good pick. I don't like it because I'm a Bills fan, but the non-sexy pick is typically the right pick.
Wait, so Greg's 3 for 3? Is that where we're at?
Oh, I've nailed several picks tonight.
Well, you're not counting, then I'm not counting.
Yeah, because I don't know who's trading with who, right? So I don't ever participate in that whole draft a roster thing, because I don't know who the trades are going to be. So why bother with that, right?
Sure. That's you got it.
Ashmere, you better pray he's not this accurate during moving the chains.
I think, moving the chains, you just got to go with the randomness. In the beginning, we're all wrong. We're always really bad in the first 3 weeks. First month and a half, I would say, we're all like, yeah, we don't know what we're talking about. Then week 6, all of a sudden we lock in and we know who's the best and who's the worst.
It comes with learning the teams as they go along, because you don't have a real preseason to judge teams anymore. 90% of the starters don't play in the preseason, and they only have 3 games instead of 4 now. So, it's a lot harder to judge teams. And it takes them about a month to get warmed up.
Yeah, because they are going to go to an 18-game season.
Do we think this could be a Jermod McCoy situation? I think that would be a good pick.
Are you booing the Chiefs? Hell yeah. I like that sound effect. Wait, I'm looking at my...
Yeah, McCoy makes a lot of sense here.
For sure.
I think I have everything we need for him. Yeah, so we're winding down the night, folks. If you've stuck with us so far, we appreciate you, but we're not done. 2 more days to go. We'll be right here live for every pick, breaking it down for you. We appreciate you guys for hanging with us throughout the night so far. We have the answer to that trivia question coming up, I believe. So, yeah, which draft had the most Hall of Famers? Drum roll, please.
What's your answer, Jeff?
I have no clue.
Anyone else want to take a stab at it?
I leave the answers to Bill.
Well, since it was the year I was born, it's 1964 with 11.
Bang! You got it. Winner.
Thank God nobody asked me that one.
That's okay. We're saving it for last, okay?
You got me beat on that one, Greg.
Well, I got everybody beat in age here. I got everybody beat.
As Danny Glover said in Lethal Weapon, I wasn't even an inch in my daddy's pants yet.
That's right.
All right, that was farther than my joke was. Okay, right through my joke. The protection pass. Okay. All right.
That was recent. That was a perfect drop.
Yeah.
That was, the protection joke was perfect. It was right. It's happening, still happening right now. That whole thing.
I didn't even know. It just sometimes the things just come to you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Peter Woods, Clemson.
Peter Woods.
Is everyone surprised? Bill's surprised. First reaction.
Really. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Greg talked about this earlier, and he's not a bad football player. We'll make it very clear he's not a bad football player, and he was asked to do things he's not great at last year at Clemson.
Bingo.
But you're basically trying to sell yourself on the tape of the year prior, and that is a dangerous game to play because while there are circumstances that help to contribute to Peter Woods' drop-off, he did not look like a first-round player this past year at Clemson. And I get it. Clemson did not help. They did not do him any favors. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to work on some things, right? He's going to have to work on some things. He definitely lost a little bit of value. The Peter Woods of last year, if you were in this class, wouldn't have made it past pick probably 12, 13. He was a different player and a better player in the past. And like I said, I saw the way they were using him. They're using him differently. I understand all that. I still saw him not – there were sometimes he was playing, against players that weren't that great and he wasn't dominating them. I don't care what scheme you're in. Players who aren't as good as you should be dominating. And he did not do that. That was why I had him out of my first round, just because of that. But I will say this. If there is a place where somebody might be able to get him back to where he was, Steve Spagnuolo might be that guy. And they're looking for their next Chris Jones. Now, I don't think that is what he'll become, but that's what they're hoping he can become.
No, but in the odd front, he's a good fit, and that's the bottom line of that.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade.
Guess who's
Jets
back?
got back in. So now they have 3.
Jets.
The 49ers have turned their initial pick into a 90 and 179. Jeff, get those numbers going, my guy.
Right now.
I took a screenshot just for you.
Yeah. Is this where actually we were not we weren't taking Carson Beck's agent seriously, and he actually goes at pick 30?
Oh, wow.
I had to say it. That Carson Beck's agent was doing some work. I was impressed.
He was blowing smoke.
Oh yeah.
Omar Cooper Jr.
Yep,
Yeah.
Good pick.
Fire pick.
Omar Cooper Jr. is a good receiver, but he got way too much credit for his big catch against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Is he going to be that type of receiver in the NFL? There's a possibility because he does have the good leaping ability. But again, he's a very good receiver. He's 200 pounds. He ran a 4.42. He's an excellent receiver.
I think he, like, his average size profile for a wide receiver makes up with his athleticism. And that's what I really love about Omar Cooper. It's not just about the height, but it's also he's great in yards after the catch. I think he led. One stat that I found that I loved about Omar Cooper is on balls thrown between 10 yards and 19 yards. So intermediate, he led in yards after the catch after that with like 6.3. So he's catching the ball 11 yards deep onto the field and then gaining an extra 7 yards. I think that's very valuable in the NFL. The way he can find zones might be top 2 in the class. Zone spot finds as well. And then you have that yak ability, which they immediately used all the time in Indiana. Once you saw if it was a 3-by-1 set and there was 2 DBs on that side, just threw it to Omar Cooper and let him run for 10 yards. That is transitionable to the NFL, especially with his lower body strength, and he can break tackles. He can dip low. He's athletic to avoid tackles. He's an NFL wide receiver.
Oh yeah.
So the trade, pick 30 was worth 620. By getting 33 and 179, they got a combined total of 600. So only a 20-point swing. They could probably squeeze another pick out of it, but they let it go for 20 points.
So Jets, I mean, man, it's coming from Buffalo Bills fan. David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. is a pretty sweet haul, in my opinion.
It is. When you have multiple first-round picks, you can move around and do a lot of different things. So they're pretty rich with picks this year. So.
And Geno Smith. They're rich in Geno Smith. Don't forget.
Oh, there you go. Buffalo is out of the first round. They just traded with Tennessee.
Wait, so it says the pick is in, though.
Yeah, no, I think they're lying.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a trade.
Tennessee looking for wide receiver help. Wow, I was just going to say, let's go to break. So then we got to refresh Randall. But we're still going to go to break.
Yeah, we're going to go to break right before the last.
We're still going to go to break, but Randall's not going to recap on his reaction to the Bills pick.
I know this was two years ago. We did the same thing when we took Keon Coleman. We went from I was at a restaurant, 27 to 30, then 30 to 34. Sure.
All right, everyone. We've got 2 picks left. Go get your water. We're going to take a quick break, and we will see you right back to.
Mark and Joe will have order in their court. This is your final warning. Right, let's get this started. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. Emerging from the smoke, I am your host. Welcome to People's Court.
You are watching the 2026 NFL Draft Reaction Show. Who are the Diamonds in the Rough? Back to Jeff Ashmere and our NFL Draft Team.
What's up, squad? We're back. Just needed to finish my H2O before we react to the Titans bouncing back in. Who do you think they're coming for right now, Randall?
Wide receiver. Wait. No, they went Carnell Tate early.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line? Offensive line.
Yeah.
Who's there? Emmanuel Pregnon maybe in the middle, or who would be the next tackle? Let me see.
We needed your board here.
Yeah, I know.
Here, I got you.
Blake Miller already went. Tackles went. A lot of tackles already went.
Yeah, we had a nice run on tackle. Yeah.
Had a nice run on tackle.
As I figured there would be.
Hey, that makes sense.
Keldrick Falk.
Yes.
Great.
And again, everybody was after his 2025 tape. Don't worry about 2025. Go back and watch his 2024 tape. The man had 7 sacks. He can get to a quarterback. End of discussion. Don't tell me that Keldrick Falk cannot get to a quarterback.
Greg said go back in the past.
Well, that's the problem that so many people have when they're doing these drafts is they only look at this past season.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay, so I don't know if this is real, but...
Schefter 2.0, what do you have?
Oh, no, I don't think it is. I think he just deleted it. I haven't gotten the trade terms of the Buffalo trade, so never mind. Tweet got deleted.
Too fast for his own good.
I think the next player off for the Seattle Seahawks will be Jadarian Price because Charbonnet is coming out with an injury and they lost Kenneth Walker III.
Bill, what's your reaction for the Titans pick? Oh, you're muted.
I think Falk is a made-to-order base end. I don't think he'll ever be a double-digit sack guy, but he's extremely physically powerful. He has a lot of the same qualities that a guy like Justin Tuck had, in that he's a powerful, really powerful kid. And once again, kid, as I mentioned before, he's not even 21 years old. He's I think he's the third youngest player in the entire draft class.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you like about him is just the body type. He looks the part. Exactly. You used to joke about who gets off the bus first. This is a guy who get off the bus first. Virtually no body fat, practically. Long arms, broad shoulders, narrow waist, powerful. Has that bubble, as they say. All those things you sort of look for in the classic pass rusher body. Still has to develop more of a bag, more of a sense of how to beat different kinds of players who are setting up against him differently. Right now, he only really has speed to power, long arm stab. He can swipe. He has a one arm swipe, and he can always double it up a little bit. But the good news is, like I said, he's so young. He's got a lot of development still left in his body, and somebody can teach him, more moves, more things that'll help him to be. And he's also pretty good at the run too.
I think what you're going to get from him, especially with defensive coordinators that want to get him involved early. We talk about the repertoire still being developed. He's got that long frame. He's not going to be expected to get a ton of sacks. I think you're going to look at him as a guy that's going to create edge pressure, create problems in the passing lanes. They're going to reduce him inside in certain situations as an under tackle where he's going to get a chance to run some games and get free. They're going to do things like that to kind of help him out. If there's a bad matchup inside where he can win speed against a guard, they'll put him in there in a pass rush situation to do that. So I think when you look at the body type, he fits that kind of mold. With a guy that'll play outside, but he'll reduce inside. Matter of fact, prime example would have been Chris Canty. Chris Canty was that big, long frame kind of guy. Yeah, he could play outside, but you would reduce him inside in pass rush situations, let him take advantage of some guards, game him a lot, run the crossing stunts, the tough stunts where he goes looping all the way around outside, things that are going to help him free up as opposed to trying to rely just on his pass rush ability. So I think that's what's going to happen with him early until he finds that niche as a pass rusher.
Did you guys see his chain? It's a K and an F. It's super sick. Talk about personality.
Chains and championship rings get better and better every year.
But he had to get his own chain, right?
Yeah, well, when you're going up there for the draft, these agents make sure you look good. I
mean, that chain's like the size of my head.
In the NIL money, they better have chains like
that.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. Yeah. You better be buying her something nice. All right, Super Bowl champions on the board. Pick is in. Seattle Seahawks, our final pick for round 1. Want to hear, Randall, who do you got?
I really like Brandon Cisse in this spot. I think he's a prototypical Seattle Seahawks cornerback. They're going to need a cheap cornerback on the other side of Christian Gonzalez when they pay Christian Gonzalez. Cisse can work outside, inside, has 4.49 speed. Probably the only highlight or one of 2 highlights out of that Arkansas defense last year. But he has great trail technique, high IQ, great tackler, and he can come down and blitz, just like the Seattle Seahawks did multiple times in the Super Bowl to secure that victory.
I want to know what Greg's thinking before the pick is in. Can you tell me in quick time? He's like, I'm on the spot.
He said, I thought he said, you're muted, Greg. He said Jadarian Price. I think it's a little too rich for Jadarian Price.
Yeah, but they don't have
a running back. What's wrong with Charbonnet?
Charbonnet's coming back from an ACL.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they're really stretching this out. So
I know. I'm like,
they know it's the end.
2 minutes has changed a lot. By now, we're on this show for 3 hours. We're halfway through, guys. We're at 21 or something.
They've advised teams to speed it up because remember, teams would sit there and the clock would go red.
For sure.
On I can't count how many picks in the past. So yeah, they're pretty good at getting their stuff in now.
2 shower songs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you're in the shower for 2 songs, you better get it.
Right again.
At first, I was like, "Who's laughing?"
I think everybody's laughing at the guy that's making the pick because he's like breaking the mic. He's so excited right now.
Oh, he's from the Make-A-Wish, so this is his lifelong dream.
Oh, he's
Jadarian
amped up. I
Price.
love that.
I told you.
Greg,
Okay, you're on fire today. Flowers.
I'm telling you, you
away.
better pray that Greg is not this accurate on moving the chains. He's gonna be.
Greg is on fire.
Greg, next year I'm going to call you when I'm on my FanDuel parlay. I'm not going to make that mistake again.
2 Golden Dome running backs in the first round. Has that happened before?
No.
Oh yeah, same team. Yeah.
Well, no, Notre Dame. I don't think they've ever had.
Right.
2 running backs go in the first
Right.
round.
Coming from the same team. Yeah.
Ooh, let's look it up.
I mean, he rocks.
I think Auburn was the last one, right? When they had Ronnie Brown
Yeah,
and
well, Cadillac Williams. Yeah.
and they went back to back, 2 and 3, right?
Yeah.
Was it back to back? I know they were in the top 10 together, right?
Yeah. And there was a lot of debate about which one would go first.
Yeah. Now,
Cadillac
Jadarian Price did not receive the football because guess what? Notre Dame had big leads. And when Jadarian Price was hitting that field, he was running the damn football to take time off the clock. But Jadarian Price can also return kicks, punts, etc. That is a very key factor. Yes, he is a good receiver. Don't worry about that fact.
And he also resembles running style the guy that you just lost, the guy that won you an MVP in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Kenneth Walker Jr. That guy that's a problem between the tackles, can break explosive runs, and he gives you a little extra in the return game. So I think what you get in Jadarian Price is a guy that gives you a lot of the qualities you lost and adds a little in special teams.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, my friends, we have done it once again. So I'm going to ask for your reaction. Surprises, happiness, sadness. Let's go with Bill first.
There was a lot of movement, which I thought there would be, right? Because, as I said earlier, most of these teams had somewhere between 10 and 14 players with first-round grades. That means that before the midpoint of the draft, there's no more first-round graded players left for these teams. So now you're looking for particular flavors. You're looking for particular things, fits. So what buying into maybe the way a player's interviewed or things like that, because these are not players whose film grades would justify taking them where you're taking them, right? The other thing I think is very interesting about this particular draft also was how many of the players that were quote unquote surefire first rounders are still available going into the second day, right? Going into day 2. And how many guys who were looked at as second rounders made their way into the first or were taken in the first. And so at least 3 or 4 of the guys who were taken today were players that just a few months ago, people were saying maybe they might go in the top 50 or between 50 and 75, and they went in the top 32. And then last but not least, like I said, there are a lot of teams that saw what was going on and decided we got to get out of the first altogether, or at least trade down. And I thought they would have trouble finding partners. Shout out to the player, to the GMs who said we want to be out of this first round or later in this first round, who did find dance partners. So well done to all those GMs. But that was things that stuck with me.
Randall, what about you?
Definitely the ability to trade back in the back of the first round was impressive. I'm surprised that they did that as well. I think obviously Ty Simpson is the most surprising when it comes down to it, taking him at 13. I know Dan Orlovsky will be thrilled that happened. But overall, yeah, I mean, it was actually very fun. Like Keelan Rutledge was interesting. A lot of people went in certain spots that I think we kind of predicted in like groups of 10 that pushed people down. And now it makes the second round super interesting because you have guys like Emmanuel McNeil Warren still available. You have Caden McDonald still available. You have Christian Miller still available. You have Denzel Boston still available. You have TJ Parker. You have Cassius Howell. You have CJ Allen. You have Jacob Rodriguez. So many good players in the second round that this first round is going to make day 2 super exciting.
All right, Greg, take us home. Oh, and Jeff. But Jeff's hosting tomorrow, so he gets to react tomorrow. But Greg, go ahead.
I was right on many picks tonight. I thank goodness. Caleb Downs is the center. He is the center pin to changing this Cowboys defense. He will be a huge difference maker. And Malachi Lawrence, again, Malachi Lawrence may not be able to stop the run, but guess what? He doesn't need to be out there on first down. He goes out there on 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. He'll be a pass rusher to begin with until he learns how to stop the running game at the pro level. Marcus Dixon's a very good coach. He will get him to a very solid level. So the Cowboys, 2 excellent picks, and the Eagles have 1 less pick as well, which is always a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Jeff?
Well, it's nice to see exactly what Bill talked about. We always say, draft classes have strengths and weaknesses. This class has a lot of strengths, but there's some weaknesses in there, something we haven't seen in several years because we had those heavy COVID classes with a lot of holdovers from previous years. So those classes were absolutely loaded. This is the first traditional draft class, which is why I think you're seeing the movement. Like you said, 12 to 14 first-round picks. Just because you're taken in the first round doesn't mean you're in first-round grade, right? 12 to 14 special players is what that means. Right? And once those special players are gone, then you see guys that you're really, really good starters being taken, guys with high projections as far as production when they get to their peak of their game. So what you're seeing tonight is we're seeing the value that people had on those players. They moved around to get them. Teams that had multiple picks either stayed where they are and moved back a little. In the Jets' case, they came back and got a 3rd helping. So we're seeing teams that valued what was on the board. They made moves to go get it. And some teams said, you know what, we like what's there, but we're going to have more value later on. We'll move back and acquire more picks like the Niners did, the Bills. Those teams are going to come in tomorrow and start swinging for the fences. So stay tuned tomorrow and Saturday. There's going to be a lot more fun to be had. But tonight was a great appetizer, so to say.
All right.
So Bill, real quick on a Bill standpoint, as you talked about the trade back, Brandon Beane turned 26 and 91 into 35, 66, 101, and 125. I think that's pretty impressive in a class where the heart of the draft is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. So for a lot of slack that he's gotten in the offseason and why he kept his job, I think he did a good job today getting picks when he didn't have a 2nd rounder.
26, 91, and what else did he get?
26 and 9. He traded 26 and 91 to acquire 35, 66, 101, and 125.
Yeah.
That's a good day.
It is. Like I said, got traded back, got more value. He's coming out swinging for the fences tomorrow. And even if he doesn't pick with all of those, he has ammunition to move up and get somebody he wants in one of those rounds. So, I mean, and that's what it's all about. Like we talked about it.
We had 16 moves.
Yeah. Belichick was known for doing it when he was in New England, trading back sometimes out of the first round altogether just to add more picks on day 2 and day 3. And then he would still move back and forth. Jimmy Johnson, same way.
I think we're
the currency.
Yeah, exactly. Bill and Randall.
Yes, sir.
The Cowboys made 2 good picks. Is that going to be enough to change that defense from the 511 points against last year?
I think they'll at least be a middle of the pack defense. I don't think they're going to be a elite defense, but they'll no longer be a historically bad defense.
Which last year was.
Right. So you will no longer be throwing your remote as hard and as often as you did.
Well,
I didn't throw my remote last year.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah. I'm a grown up. I don't throw remote. I don't do that.
Well done, sir.
I swear.
Yeah,
I swear, but yeah. No.
Well, we
middle of
lost.
the pack would serve them well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had 16 trades today, so
Which
I feel like
which beats the average of 5.6 trades per first round.
Yeah.
So I knew there was going to be a whack of trades. I just knew it, and that's why I didn't make that many changes to my mock draft. I only had the one, but yeah, it was going to be bizarre, so it was.
Ashmere, it was great hanging with you for another round of NFL draft. You know, we got to do this again next year.
yapping.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what we do. We don't get to make the picks, so all we get to do is talk. You know, but tomorrow night we're back. Pack your lunch because we're going to be here a while. 2 big rounds to go. Get your catering ready for Saturday for the bulk of the draft. We're starting, I believe, at 6:45 tomorrow night. So it should be a nice long night. Hopefully they'll speed it up and end around this time. We won't be here till after midnight, like traditionally in the past.
Oh, it's going to be quicker. It'll be quicker.
Did they change the time?
Yeah.
I think they cut them back a minute or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Randall, the epic mock draft was how much quicker?
So much quicker. It was crazy.
It was 257 picks, especially the tail end guys were just going off the board. Bang, 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 bang. These NFL teams have no reason to waste time. They have no reason to waste time. If they've done their homework, put in your pick. You're done.
Well, I think they would say, well, your job ain't on the line. That's why they
win. Listen, even Will McClay has had some awful picks.
Yeah.
And Will McClay, if we had a second round pick, I should be the guy making the pick for the Cowboys, not Will McClay. Don't you ever take Luke Schoonmaker or Kelvin Joseph, any of these clowns. Dumb.
Well, you're going to take us out for the final time, Ashmere?
I was going to say my favorite part, obviously, Fernando Mendoza. I didn't even get to tear off the roof when it happened because so many things happened at the same time. So that was my highlight. And I think tomorrow I'm excited to see what the Raiders do next because I think every single comment I've gotten on any video I've posted is like, we need offensive linemen. So let's see with this stacked group of players that you guys have highlighted so beautifully. So thank you everyone for being here. The last 3 hours and 17 minutes and counting have been informative, exciting, crazy, per usual. Do not forget to join the guys tomorrow. And we will see you all then. Follow Team NBS Media everywhere on social media. We've got content like this for you all year long. And we ramp it up, of course, for football season because you can see we are all football junkies. Have a great night, everyone. And thank you again for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow.